Lost. True indeed. We lost. Lord knows we lost. I'm about to say something to make you not like me. You might catch feelings and you might want to fight me, but I don't really care, I'ma say it anyway. Why most comedic guys seem soft and gay. I'm not saying all, but a large amount. Have you ever heard the words that come out of their mouth? Yeah, they cuss like a sailor, but they follow my eye. They carry oaks and wear makeup and thinking it's hot. I think they need to stop, this is a new era. I wonder if the pharaohs of a war mascara. It probably was a death mask misunderstood. Don't let them D-boys catch them up in the hood. Why NOI? Stop patrolling the block. We get shot by the cops and we calling the cops. Come on, y'all was on another level. The black man was God, the white man the devil. Now the white man, or better yet the European and the bean pies of
this one gonna be tight.
What I'm saying,
Press 7 if you can hear me.
The woman to be, and you
Man, it's about to go up.
The demonized women and choose Esau over brothers and Kemet. Probably timid, soft, and scared to fight. Yelling and wearing spikes, trying to fake me out right. But you can't fool me, cause you make a little noise. Cause deep inside, y'all some scared little boys. You really wanna ride, let's take it to the beast. Get revenge for our people killed by like these. Yeah, right. Y'all ain't busting the grape. It appears that you fear and you in love with hate. Correct me if I'm wrong, we might all don't get along. European psychology got us all gone. You think we divided? Cause I wear fez and she wear oak and he wear dreads. But the vision don't start there, it starts in the head. I'm here to wake you up and get you out of the bed. We lost to get you out the bed. I'm here to spread love and get you out the bed.
Everybody needs to share this at least twice.
The vision don't start there, it starts in the head. I'm here to spread love and get you out the bed.
That's something about the
Wake up. I'm here to spread love and get you out the bed. Wake up.
I'm about to share this to my revolutionary.
I'm here to spread love and get you out the bed. Wake up.
I'm about to share this to all the revolutionary.
I'm here to spread love and get you out of the bed. Wake up. I'm here to spread love and get you out of the bed. Oh yeah, I'm here to spread love and get you out of the bed. Y'all think we divided cause I got a fez and you wear oak and she wear dreads. Y'all think we divided cause I wear fez. The vision don't start there, it starts in the head. And she wear oak and he got dreads. Moors need to wake up too, so I'ma wake up you. So we can get together, do what we gotta do. We ain't done much since the prophet left. More standing on law, we still in this mess. Haven't built the town to hold us down. Paperwork can't fear, we looking like clowns. Not a bench in the temple, claim we follow the prophet. But I follow the prophet, I understand logic. People in the temple, time to hit the streets. Everybody knew they part of, we ain't getting relief. The murder rate can be more, and just gone crazy. Dope fiends ODing in the hood on the daily. Weed waste with chemicals, you drink and serve. We fighting over information, we got some nerve. To say that we conscious, we might know a little something, but we just frontin', cause we haven't done nothing, we lost.
Y'all ready?
We divided, cause I got a fez, and she got a cross, and he got dreads. You think we divided, cause I got a fez, and he got an oak, and he got dreads. You think we divided, cause I got a fez?
Yeah. Islam. I'm trying to be your friend, man.
That's right.
Trying to be your friend, bro. Help me out. Meet me halfway. Come on. I wanna be your friend. Peace and love. Let me be your friend. Peace and love. I said you ain't never met a more like me, and you ain't never ever gonna meet one again. Now let me be your friend. Peace and love. Let me be your friend. Peace and love. I said you ain't never met a more like me, and you ain't never ever gonna meet one again. I wanna be your friend. Peace and love. You let me be your friend. Peace and love. Hey yo, I used to be a thug until I met the prophet. Now I'm all about love, truth, peace, and freedom. Till I return to Allah. One day we gon' meet him. I'm all about justice. That's the focus of the message. Sometimes Asiatics make me wanna forget the lessons. I be all up in my passion from all the Moorish passion. All things considered, I start laughing. A grown man with a ponytail, another calling us Neanderthal, and he all pale. I mean, for real, this is what it come to, my brother. We got nothing better to do than talk down to each other. Yeah, we could be scholarly, Ali, or we can get gutter. We are the children of our father, and the breast of our mother has nursed us all. And first of all, we beefing while the bean trying to murk us all. You need to chill, my brother, tell the elder the same, cause on the real, my man, I'm really about them things. I can take the feds off and get back in the low, and return to the state where they used to call me dope. But no, I'm rolling with the prophet of Allah. I want love, not war, standing on that floor, and I'm holding the square, the compass and the axe that might be too deep. Yo, let's not get off track. See, our prophet was an adept. Do you know what that is? An Egyptian adept is a brother who lived by the universal science developed in the Nile. We call it Islamism, but it's the same, my child. Set at the foot of a master, I train you up, but I might have to bang you up. I still love you, and those that's talking that this ain't Islam. Everything the prophet brought is in the Quran. All that other stuff, prostrate and cover up, is just the start. And there's place to me, the law's the heart. You can dress like a step, but you can dress like a herb. By the Moorish American Muslim unifies the word. You can say what you want about Dr. York, but he gave you different variations of the same thought. You don't appreciate that. You won't appreciate me. Appreciate the holy and divine true Ali. People refuse to admit it. He the first that ever did it. Europeans hope that the Moors would forget it, but we here, strong, alive and well, resurrected from hell, with a story to tell. So pay attention and listen and consider.
I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember. I be that more you gon' remember. To Harker Bay front line till the law call my number. I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember. That's right. I be that more you gon' remember. To Harker Bay front line till the law call my number. You a friend of the Moors and you a friend of mine. I was told to watch my enemies, now hold my line. Those who speak against the prophet, they speak against me. And I'm speaking about the prophet over Drew Ali, who was the first to remind you and bind you back to Morocco, the mountains, Mississippi, and Quebec. Told you wasn't black, you not straight facts. You tripping off trucks, you need to be tripping off that. Now here we go again, acting like you a slave. Family, see y'all tonight, 9:30. Let's go. I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember. I be that more you gon' remember. To Harker Bay front line till the law call my number.
Peace and love, to let me be your friend.
Welcome to another edition of Moorish World TV, family. This one is going to be a doozy. This one is going to be a doozy, family. We getting right into it. This one is going to be serious. If y'all been following the channel, I try to tell people, and if you talk to people, you have to tell people to Moorish World TV. And I don't like to say it like this, but the best way that I can describe it is Moorish World TV is sort of like a series. You know, it's like a series of a TV show or series of a reality show. In other words, it's always one connecting story to the other, one connecting story to the other, one connecting story to the other, and it never stops. It seems like our people that choose to go left and not live right, they be like the gift that keep on giving. And so let me rewind you and give you the update real quick. I did an interview with Brother Malik Zulu Shabazz maybe a year ago. It's one of the highest viewership on the channel. I think it's up to 40-some thousand views or higher, but whatever the case may be, a lot of people had interest in what Malik had to say in reference to Dr. Khalid Muhammad, and they was really interested in my interview style, I would imagine, because anywhere else, I don't think he gained that much momentum in talking about the subject. Well, during that time, I actually was unaware. He was promoting his book, but during that time, I was unaware that he had wrote. That was the revision of his edition or rendition of Dr. Khalid Muhammad. In fact, I feel as though the public was misled to believe that that was an original work that started at that time of his campaign and released earlier this year, but it wasn't. It actually was a formal work in conjunction with more work. Like, it's like Malik been trying to push this Dr. Khalid Muhammad story to validate himself. And when I did that interview, and it was a lot missing in that interview, and we're going to go back and we're going to examine that. But before we do that, we have our brother minister up in here that's going to take us back and give us a walk through time. When I interviewed Brother Malik, I was asking some question that kind of stumped him. I remember I asked him one question. I said, do you think he was murdered? And he paused for a minute. And then he said, well, you know, he had hypertension and high blood pressure. He used to love to eat chicken. I'm like, Dr. Khalid Muhammad? Now, I know, we like what we like, but I was like, Dr. Khalid Muhammad? And then when you look at the Elijah Muhammad's book, Eat to Live, et cetera, it just didn't really fit. Dr. Khalid Muhammad, to me, he always looked physically fit. He always looked like he was shining, glowing. And so when he did that, when he said that, that was like a major red flag to me. And then I asked him about Dr. Khalid Muhammad's wife. And he basically kind of brushed that off. I'm talking about not wife, but I don't know if it was his wife, but I'm talking about the last sister that he was involved with. Everybody seems to brush that off. It's this sister that's supposed to be wealthy in retail or something like that, but nobody knows who she is. Or if somebody does know who she is, ain't nobody saying nothing. You know what I'm saying? But it was my understanding that some of the stories was that she was there, Malik was there. Even the story came out that Malik cleaned up. Now, allegedly, let me say this because I don't know, I wasn't there. Allegedly, that Malik actually cleaned up some of, if he threw up or things like that. He actually cleaned up stuff. I mean, it was something. You know what I'm saying? Now, he said, I thought Malik threw her under the bus. Well, what I'm saying is Malik never identified who this person is. This is a mysterious person. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, but somebody said, Cryptonomics say Hashim cleaned up, not Malik. Well, see how the story is all over the place? Because the story is all over the place. You know what I'm saying? It's just all over the place. But my understanding was Hashim and Malik was a team anyway. So, I mean, but it's all over the place. But we got a brother here today. You know what I'm saying? We got a brother here today that actually walked with Dr. Khalid Muhammad. And man, we about to get into it. And he's not going to hold anything back. So buckle your seatbelts, family. This is one of those serious moments because Dr. Khalid is one of my favorites. He's one of my heroes. He's one of the ones that inspired me to say what I mean what I say, regardless of opposition. You know what I'm saying? And my personality is similar to Dr. Khalid Muhammad without a lot of, I guess, the aggression towards particular groups and particular Europeans. I'm aggressive towards everybody. Once you cross our people, Europeans, it's all over. You know what I'm saying? My mission is a little bit different because I think if we fix us, everything else will fix itself. That's just where I'm at with it. I think if we fix it, I think we're aware. I think Dr. Khalid and those before Dr. Khalid has informed us the potential of the European. I don't think the European is going to change in the way that he chooses to divide and conquer in the way that he's been conquering for 2,000 years. I don't think he's going to change that. And I think Dr. Khalid, Minister Farrakhan, and a lot of prolific leaders of our past has already laid out the blueprint of how the European is going to continue to dominate us as long as we're divided. And so my mission is a little bit a different. I want to wake us up. You know what I'm saying? I want to wake us up to the things that we do to ourselves, because if we fix ourselves, there's nothing that can come in between us. Period, point blank. You know. But with that being said, I got the minister in the building. Good evening, my brother. Let me see. Let me make sure your sound check is right. Peace, my brother. Can you hear me?
Peace, brother.
Peace, peace, peace. So, brother, let me ask you a question. You
Yes.
remember the last time that you was on the show?
Yes, sir, I do.
It's been quite some time. So,
Yes, sir.
So what we got to do is we got to bring people back into the know of who you are. Tell the people your name and a little bit about yourself, so they can get back into the know of who you are. Plus, you know, Moorish World TV is still building, so we got a lot of new people in the building. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your name, where you're from, your credentials, and what you represent, brother.
Well, brother, as you know, and some of those out there know, my name is Minister Mauricelm X. My name is, and that's my name, Dr. Mauricelm Millier is my legal name as well. And I'm a psychiatric clinician. My study is manic aggressive personality disorder. So you can look that up on the web. I came into existence with Dr. Khalid Muhammad in 1986 in Tunica, Mississippi. And this is a matter of record. 1986, Tunica, Mississippi. We were at the Foundation for Malcolm X from the Nation of Islam. There was an old Nation of Islam mosque in Tunica, Mississippi, where there were Baptists, Church of God in Christ, Pentecostal people that were there, and Muslims of the Elijah Muslims that were there, that were commemorating Minister Malcolm X. And also it was the founding of the African American Defense League. Minister Malcolm's sister was there. Many of you are not aware of her. Her name is Sister Ella Collins, was Sister Ella Collins. She passed in 1988. And Sister Collins came to yield us the torch, so to speak, of the charter of the organization that Minister Malcolm started, so that we could carry on. There was the problem of carrying it on. I really didn't understand the significance of the Organization for Afro-American Unity as Dr. Khalid did. But what she did was she yielded it to us. I believe about 3 o'clock, the program for me to speak, the speech was Black Revolution and the Black Evolution. That was the speech that I gave. It was a speech that Dr. Khalid Muhammad worked on with me. And this is in 1986 in Tunica, Mississippi. So in 1988, some trouble happened where Dr. Khalid was blamed for mortgage fraud around that time. It was 1987, 1988. And at that time, I headed the African American Defense League, which we had started. So this African American Defense League is old. They'll try to tell you that it came in 2014. That's not true. Dr. Khalid Muhammad was responsible for creating the African American Defense League and also reawakening the Deacons for Defense in the South. This is a fact. And there are Baptist churches that know everything about it because they were there to help get it organized as well. So I headed the African American Defense League. Dr. Khalid Muhammad was in federal holding for about 9 months. Then he came out, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, because of his sacrifice, raised Dr. Khalid up to his minister. his most ranking minister. So he was a representative of the Nation of Islam, the spokesman, most ranking member, and the third individual that held that post since the Honorable Minister Malcolm X. And but it wasn't to last long, because in 1993, Dr. Khalid was doing a speech like many of the other speeches he'd done before. As a matter of fact, one of the most powerful speeches that I saw him do was a speech against the Jews when they were in California. But when it came to Keene College, the speech that was delivered there, Dr. Khalid didn't send him running down the street like he did in California, because we literally ran after him, ran after him and was fighting him. But that speech was a moderate speech compared to many speeches he had did before, and he got in trouble at King's College when they made this big deal about the speech where he was defending. Again, I say he was defending Minister Farrakhan, and of course, you can't say this without thinking about the parallels of what also happened with Malcolm. But I want to say this: that he gets blamed for this speech. The speech is called repugnant by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and I want you to understand that this shook a lot of Muslims up, and I was shook up, and it was on fire, brother. That was a powerful speech, and it shook Muslims up. It shook Baptist people up. It shook Church of God in Christ up. It shook Moors up when we found out that he was being demoted. And I was told at that time to come out of Kansas City, and I met him at that point in DC. But we learned that he had been demoted, and once he was demoted, we continued to work. There were many Muslims. I want you to understand that there were many Muslims and other supporters that continued to work with Dr. Khalid. So it wasn't like he was alone, because he was responsible for adding, and this is no exaggeration, at least 50,000 Muslims to the camp, just from going around the country and speaking. So I was there. I was there from the very beginning. I was 12 years of age in 1986, and you can check this. This is a matter of record. You can go and find the books on it. I've talked about it in many of the Black talk shows. I talked about it. And if you're a nationalist, you're familiar with the story. I read on it, and also gave a speech on it for Amazon. I gave a speech on it for another small show that's sponsored by one of the Amazon movies, or rather cameras. But I talked about it at Dr. Coretta King's building, the Center for Nonviolent and Social Change. So we talked. This is not new. It's nothing new. But they'll have you to believe that the African American Defense League is only what would that make it? That would make it 7 years old. But that's not true. It's actually it's been in existence since 1986. So it's been in existence since 1986, and that's how I started out with Dr. Khalid.
That's my bad. That's a lot to get us jump started right into the conversation, is what I was saying before my mic was muted. Let me ask you, do you feel that Dr. Khalid Muhammad was murdered?
I know he was. I know he was assassinated. We found out, brother, you said you didn't get those other forms, so I got to make sure you get those, because I want you to show the people. This is important that you show the people these forms, and I'm going to go all the way back. I'm even going to go to Freedom Papers. I don't know if I send you Freedom Papers from YouTube?
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to check on it, but we can come back and revisit that and bring it with that. But what I wanted to do is, hold up.
Yes, sir.
What I wanted to ask you was, what from the onslaught, what brought you to the reality that you see, that you believe that Dr. Khalid Muhammad was murdered, assassinated, and silenced? What is it, in short, that convinced you that was it?
Well, strangely enough, 30 days before, about three or 4 weeks, but I believe it was let me see, I think 31 days, 31, maybe 28 to 31 days prior to Dr. Khalid Muhammad being assassinated, there was a paper written in the Washington paper. It's a small paper in D.C., and you must be familiar with it if you're in Maryland, but it's called the Washington paper. In the Washington City paper, there's a man named Mark Franco Cohen that did this story. We were at a meeting that Dr. Khalid was supposed to give a speech. And this Jew, Marco Franco Cohen, did a story on Malik Zulu Shabazz. And I've never heard a Jew speak friendly or cozy about a Nation of Islam member or a black nationalist. And which Malik Zulu Shabazz is a black nationalist, but he's not a Nation of Islam member. And so this Mark Franco Cohen wrote a piece on Malik Zulu Shabazz. It was a very romantic, loving piece, just talking about his height and all of this, and talking about him assuming the leadership of the New Black Panther Party and a successor to Dr. Khalid Muhammad. And this bothered myself and brother Steve Coakley. It bothered both of us because we were the only inner circle that he had, that I know, the private inner circle that I know of. I didn't see any others. Now, of course, his wife, Paula, was privy to it at some point. But other than that, it was myself and Minister Steve Coakley, or rather Brother Steve Coakley, who was the assistant to Mayor Harold Washington, who was mayor of Chicago. And we went over that paper with Dr. Khalid, which this particular story, it upset him, but it didn't excite him. It's like he knew, brother. We were telling him prior that we couldn't trust them from the time that they had the youth march in New York, the first one, the very first one. And then the second one where Malik, they absolutely Malik and a brother named I want to say his name is Michael Shabazz. Yeah, that's his name. Michael Shabazz. They actually absolutely sabotage that second one. And then this brother came to try to speak in front of our brother, the lawyer, when we were in New York. Came to speak against the lawyer, Attorney Maddox. And Maddox called him out right there. I mean, it's on camera. It's on camera. Maddox called him out right there. This thing that we pointed out to Maddox right away. We had Brother Steve ready to speak, but he wouldn't show up because they were threatening him, and they threatened to sabotage his mother's house, threatened to sabotage his life. So Brother Coakley had to turn around. Well, when we went to, and all, I want you to understand, all of this was happening. This is the before and after, but it was the letter that put the nail in the coffin, brother, so to speak. When that letter was written by this Jewish devil that wrote this letter about Malik Zulu Shabazz being a successor of the Honorable Minister Dr. Khalid Muhammad, we knew right then, and we kept going over it with Dr. Khalid, and Dr. Khalid told us to shut it down, especially me because I was very young. But to be honest, Brother Coakley had a better relationship with him and was closer to his age, and so he could talk with him. But there were times when he would tell me to keep silent, and even when they were discussing things, because he said he didn't want me to be non-sterile. He said he wanted me to continue to be sterile so that I could continue to do investigations and be eyes and ears. And that was very important to him. That was very important to him. Only a few times I was allowed to be in front of the camera even, and one of them was when we was in Texas. You see the picture there, and I was very proud of that. But other than that, he was very militarily sound, brother. He was militarily sound. If he had to have somebody close to him, you had to do exactly what he said. You couldn't be a glory seeker or anything like that. And brother, when I told him about that, and I tell you, brother, I knew that something was boiling. You know how your spirit man, when your spirit man is woken up, and I continue to tell the brother, I would call. And he told me, he said, young brother, don't ever disrespect me ever again to call me to tell me about something, even if you're concerned about my life. He said, puts you in danger. He said, I won't have you in danger. That's what he said. So me and a few other brothers that were organized by Dr. Khalid, he told us to stay. There were some things that we were going to do. I'll just leave it at that. and it would have been a success, brother. It would have been a success. And I believe that had we done those things, Dr. Khalid would still be here today. Because when you have an evildoer, brother, you move him out of the way. I don't care anything about my life. You have to understand that. My wife understands it. My mother understands it. And everybody else that knows me understands it. And if I know it is a good man, I put my life on the line for a good man. I put my life on the line. But he understood. I want this to be plain. That he understood that Hashim Mzinga, and I know there's a lot of black nationals out there mad because they said, well, the brother dead from cancer. Well, that's one black demon less that we got to deal with. Now we still got to deal with Malik Zulu Shabazz, and this.
Hold up, you're going too fast. Hold up, brother. Woo! Hold up, let him take that in for a minute. Whew. My good brother. Are you of the thought that, and then we'll get to Hashim in a minute, but let's isolate one. Are you of the thought that our brother Malik Zulu Shabazz had at minimum or at maximum being complicit in the actions that resulted in Dr. Khalid's demise, his destruction and ultimate death? You believe
yes.
You have the thought
yes.
At minimum, medium, or maximum?
I think maximum, brother. Because the hand that the non-seen hand is the most powerful hand you got. You see, when you got when you have a troublemaker that can heap up trouble as an instigator, they're the ones that can't be seen, and they're moving all the pegs. Now, Malik Zulu Shabazz was in Atlanta. I know that. If he say he wasn't, he's a liar, and the truth is not in him. I know he was in Atlanta. I know it for a fact. I also know that Hashim Mzinga was in Atlanta, and the young lady was in Atlanta. Now, I had never seen her, brother, but I tell you, she came from our knowledge, in her lips. She came from T.D. Jakes' church. And you know he's a coon and a demon for the white man. You already know it. Well, that caused trouble right there. Now, she had money. She wasn't the brightest tool in the shed. We all knew it. But where do you get this money from? And you have to watch an agent, because an agent always seems to have exactly what you need. Exactly. And they always seem to have exactly what you need. So, and we have to be very cognizant of that. But other than that, she has no history in black nationalism or nothing like that. Now, brother, one of the brothers was correct. I believe it was Brother Cryptonomics. He was correct. It was Hashim Mzinga that cleaned the stuff up. He cleaned it up. He called, the girl called Hashim. Now, this is out of his own mouth. It's out of Hashim's own mouth, so he can't lie. If he was here, he couldn't lie. When he was alive, he couldn't lie about it when we continually asked him about it. And there was a lot of nationalists that were angry about this. He cleaned it up. They didn't call the ambulance until about 9 hours later, brother. 9 hours later did they call the ambulance. 9 hours. And you can check this. And then when they had him at that hospital, they claimed him as dead before he was even dead. If you look at the paper, there was a paper that the Anti-Defamation League wrote against Dr. Khalid Muhammad. There was a paper that they wrote, and I believe I have that too. I grabbed it as soon as I saw it come out. But in this paper, they're basically making fun of Dr. Khalid. They give all the quotes, then they talk about him dying, and that was on February the 17th. Of 2001. But now when you look at the death certificate, what should have been on it, and those of us that knew, Dr. Khalid lied. I mean, Dr. Khalid laid dying in 2018, it was February the 18th. He died laying there till February 18th, almost the 19th. So they wouldn't even attend to him. The doctors wouldn't even attend to him. Now, I say this, and I say this too. Michael Muhammad was around. He was in the Black Panther party at that time. You don't see him anymore. You don't even see him around anymore. See, you don't see Philip X around anymore. And all the brothers that was around supposed to be prolific, you don't see them around anymore. You'll see, if you look closely, those individuals that were involved are not even around. Now,
let me ask you. Let me backtrack. Do all of those brothers know you personally? Philip X, Michael Muhammad, and all of that.
Oh yes, oh yes.
Have they ever? Have you ever had conversation with them post Dr. Khalid Muhammad's death?
Not after Dr. Khalid. My only duty was to attend to Dr. Khalid, what his special needs were, and to get those things out. I saw Malik Zulu Shabazz only when I had to on the occasions. Now, there was one organization where we were trying to get something together, and this is when I was still doing the investigation on the death of Dr. Khalid Muhammad, which I submitted to violation of human rights. I also submitted to Civil Rights Advocacy Association and the Civil Rights Commission for them to do an investigation. That was when I was in Ohio, and we were doing something there in Ohio. I came against Rod Parson because he spoke something against Dr. Khalid Muhammad. So we came to cause ruckus in his church. Some of his people were there. My people were there. We caused ruckus there. In Little Rock, Arkansas, you can check. I believe it was 2007, 2008. In Little Rock, Arkansas, after we came from the Michael Bell incident in Jena 6, where if you'll check that, USA Globe ran the story. I was there, but the story there was about me organizing Black nationalism as security in Black communities. So I saw him there. He came there with the new Black Panther Party toward the evening, trying to get some camera play. When we were in the Mike Brown organization there in Ferguson, if you realize I came there, I organized that whole thing. When they failed to be able to they couldn't pull it because people had they were not comfortable with Malik Zulu Shabazz, and they say he didn't know how to deal with people. There was another phony there named Sean Quali, and these people, but they wouldn't deal with them.
Let me bring you right back for a second. When you say that you feel as though, and I got our alleged sign up there just to let people know that we are speaking from a place where it hasn't been literally proven,
right?
If you will. But just because it haven't been proven doesn't mean it didn't happen. So we got our alleged sign up there. But what that mean, with that, I say all that to say is that what was one of the key points to make you say, aha, this is one of the players, Malik Zulu Shabazz? What was it that made you say that?
When Steve Coakley and myself were in Atlanta, this is when I had successfully made it from Mississippi to come to Atlanta, Georgia. I finally got there. Steve and I were talking. Malik Zulu Shabazz gave this story to Steve Coakley. This is common knowledge. It's in also, you can find it, brothers and sisters, in Freedom Papers. You can also find the assassination of Dr. Khalid Muhammad speech by Steve Coakley. I'm running the camera. That's on YouTube as well. Now, when he came to us, and Hashim and Zinga came to us too, brother, they gave us stories to try to validate the death of Dr. Khalid. Now, when we went to ask them about those stories again, for the record, they recanted. Both of them did. Hashim first ran up to us to try to offer some information, and it was challenged. Attorney Alden Maddox challenged it. Steve Coakley challenged it. Of course, I challenged it. But when we asked why they had not made a full report, why they hadn't went to the press or anything like that. Malik said that he was waiting. He said that he was trying to put it in the hands of people who could be trusted. Now, brother, they took this brother it was in Marietta where the incident happened. They took this brother after he had died. 9 hours before they took him to the hospital. This come from his own mouth. At that point, I was complicit that he was involved. At that point, I mean, if I have a brother that is with me, has been with me, has been loyal to me, has fed me and taught me and led me in all righteousness, and something happened to the brother, and in the hospital is right down the street, so to speak, if driving, there's nothing that you can say to me to make me accept that it took you 9 hours to get this brother an ambulance and then take him to the hospital. And I said that also to say this: there were nurses in the Nation of Islam that were familiar with Dr. Khalid in any area he was in, black nurses that are specialists that could have also helped this brother. And you being around this brother with common knowledge that the foe had, and you can't call these people, yeah, I think you're a fake, a phony, I think you're a devil, I think you're a demon, and I think your time is coming, brother. I think the brother should be careful with the way he walks. He should be careful about what he says and how he talks, because I know that his day is coming. I know that.
With that being said, who else do you think was a part of the players with the death of Dr. Khalid Muhammad? Because I feel as though Dr. Khalid Muhammad was he embodied what our understanding is what our understanding of revolution is, or what it should be, even if it need to be unfolded, evolved, or whatever. Dr. Khalid, he embodies the kickoff of a revolution. He embodies that. You know what I'm saying?
Did. He was.
And to remove him would be trying to stop the revolution. You know what I mean? You can kill the revolutionary, but you can't stop you can kill the revolutionary, but you can't stop the revolution. But that's correct. Someone trying to stop the revolution. So with that being said, that there quite naturally there will be other players. Who are some of the other players that you may think that had some type of involvement to pull this off? Because it had to be bigger than just one person.
Oh yes. I hope you're ready to hold on to your seat.
Well, I'm asking the questions. I told you this is one of my heroes. Let's go.
And I hope everybody's all right, because what I'm about to say, I tell you, it shook me up. It shook me up, brother. So I know that it shook a lot of other Muslims up, and a lot of other Christians too, and black nationalists. Now, brother, in 1993, when I tell you what I'm about to tell you, I'm telling you, it's going to shake you up. So I hope that you're grounded in what you believe. In 1993, when Dr. Khalid was moved down, he didn't get out of the Nation of Islam. He was put out. When he was put out in 1993, it was for, quote unquote, the speech at King Khalid. Now, let me take you back to 1989, though, and you'll understand 1993. When the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was on Phil Donahue, and the question was asked if the white man would be able to be a Muslim, or to get inside the Nation of Islam. And he said, I know a lot of brothers are going to be angry with me. He said, but yes, this was a big quarrel in the Nation of Islam among, and Dr. Khalid kept the dignity of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, because he told us that it was just political talk. And he said this one time before, when he made the trip to England before he passed. He also said, I hope that this is just a political plight to move the black man farther to where he needs to be. Now, I said all that to say this, that in 1989 and 1999, these two things were said by Dr. Khalid Muhammad. He hoped it was a bunch of political talk. In 1985 to 89, when the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is making these appearances and making these speeches, brother, he's becoming friendly with these white folks. Proof of which In 1993, he declared that Father Flagler was his friend. Now, I want you to understand that Father Flagler is a Catholic, he's white, and he's a homosexual. I want you to understand that, brother. I want you to understand that. This is no secret. Now, I want you to search what I'm saying to see if it's true. See, you should always search. And if anybody is true in what they're saying, they don't mind you searching to find the truth. So this causes a problem. This causes a dilemma. And there was a lot of Muslims. I want you to understand this, that there was a lot of Muslims that were turning around. They were itching at that point. They were upset. They were confused. I want you to understand that they had been told, tied, and tucked, run amok. Brother, they had been confused by this thing that was said. Now, I said that to say this, is that when you tell me out of one side of your neck that the white man is the devil, and then a white devil asks you, who's a reporter, a journalist, on one of the most evil talk shows that I've ever seen in my life, which is nothing but a cog for the CIA and the FBI, Phil Donahue was, and all the other white talk shows. That's what they are, and some black ones like the Breakfast Club. So when you get to the point where you would say the white man is your friend, brother, I have to pay attention to you and say that either you're duped or you're trying to dupe me. And I want to allow you to dupe me when you say that the white man is your friend, when you raise up the brother telling him that the white man was the devil. Now, that's one of the players that worked along with the federal government in 1993 to 1995. I'm telling you what I know. You can check this because the House of Representatives and the House of Senators also passed a bill that Dr. Khalid Muhammad was to be silenced. Now, you can check this, and the minister was complicit in moving him. Now, they talked about the Day of Atonement, and they talked about the Million Man March. Al Sharpton, brother, one of the most low-down, milky mouth and millie mouth black brothers that we have in the community. One of the best sellouts that we've had since Ralph Abernathy. Best sellouts. Had problem with Dr. Khalid being moved down. He wanted him to speak at the Million Man's March. This is a fact. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan would not let him do it. I'm telling you what I know. I carried the message, telling you exactly what I know. That brother, they didn't invite you. You're not welcome. Now, when we were at Abyssinia in New York, we were at Abyssinia Church in New York. The threat was sent out over the pulpit, brother, that we will kill you. We will kill you for coming against this. He spoke of the Nation of Islam. The brothers and sisters there that could tell you that they went to Dr. Khalid. I was there, brother, asking him, did you hear what the minister said, brother? Seemed like he was talking to you, brother. Did you hear what the minister said? And Dr. Khalid said, yeah, I heard what the minister said. And this happened in Abyssinia. Now, he called Dr. Khalid there because there would not have been a successful Million Man March without Dr. Khalid Muhammad. I'm telling you what I know. Because it was the thought that Dr. Khalid was going to be there that made the people come in the droves that they did. If you look after that, you didn't have as many followers. They began to drop off. But when you get to the Million Youth March, you had literally over 400,000. They said that it was only 40,000. This is a lie. This is a lie. All of the streets were packed from 6 blocks down, brother. There were so many people until they had to put the barrages up. People were behind the barrages, in front of barrages, and also behind the police that decided to act a fool that day. And it was one of the best fighting days we had about beating devils. I mean, we beat devils from the stage all the way out to the parking lot. We beat devils that day. So I want to say that the government was complicit with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So I believe, because all the pegs lead there. You had Malik Zulu Shabazz. You had Hashim Nzinga. Also, I want you to check the record of Minister James Best. I want you to check the record of him. Best was in the Nation of Islam, and I'm going to say this because I'm going to tie Dr. Khalid and Honorable Minister Malcolm X up. You can't talk about one without talking about the other.
Well, first, before you get that, remind people who James Best is for those who don't know.
James Best was the man that shot Dr. Khalid in 1997 in a speech in Los Angeles. When Dr. Khalid was speaking there, there was still Muslims that were giving him security. There were black nationals that were giving him security as well. And you had a bunch of hungry brothers and sisters that were out there still listening to the brother. And they welcomed Dr. Khalid Muhammad in California. I mean, it was a packed house. Well, there was James Best shot him there. It was a setup on all the entrances. I mean, there were guns and holes cut out of the hedges on all the entrances. So they intended to kill him. Now, and I want y'all to understand, the police participated on that day the same way they did during the time that Honorable Minister Malcolm X was killed. They act nonchalant. They didn't check on Dr. Khalid. They thought they had got him. They thought that the bullets had hit him. They were going to kill him. They thought that he was going to die. But the people stumped the hell out of James Best for shooting Dr. Khalid. And I was praying that he was dead. I didn't get a chance. I was on my way there because we was working with the Center for Nonviolent Social Change, basically making his next appointment stops. But I heard that the people stumped him real good. I was praying that he was dead. I was praying that he had got stumped to death, but the people really gave him a lesson, and he was knocked out. The police literally dragged him, fighting the people off to put him in the car. There was no charges passed. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and we talk about this in Freedom Papers, told Dr. Khalid Muhammad, you hear from Dr. Khalid's mouth, in Freedom Papers, you hear from his mouth, he said he was told not to press any charges. Now, brother, this is suspect. Now, they said that Minister James Best, who ran the temple in Washington State, they said he was.
Yeah. So not that we would think that Dr. Khalid Muhammad would try to press charges, but it was you saying that allegedly the Minister Louis Farrakhan told Dr. Khalid Muhammad not to press charges.
Told him not to press charges, brother. That's a fact. Right. That's a fact. I understand your term allegedly, but I'm telling you that's a fact. He was told not to press charges against him.
Let me excuse me, brother. Hold your thought. Let me give a big shout out to my brother, my friend, First Work Media. I'm looking for you to come on back, brother. Come on back so we can have a conversation. First Work Media. Appreciate you, brother. No debate, just conversation. Peace, big bro. All right, go ahead, carry on.
Yes, sir. So this is a fact. And James Best in 1965 was a member of the Nation of Islam. He advocated for Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And I say honorable out of respect. I say that out of respect, and I say it because I know that there are Muslims listening and respect that title. But it's just a title for me. So I say it out of respect. But James Best, he pulled for Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And I want you to understand that it was pulling for him when yet the Minister Malcolm X was still alive, brother, at this time. He had been arrested for killing his own brother. He was a known killer. He was holding people at gunpoint in 1964, or rather 63 to 65, to make them buy a Muhammad Speak newspaper. I'm trying to tell you what kind of brother this is. James Best was this kind of brother. In all of the assassinations that he committed, all the deaths that he committed, even against his brother, who was an avid supporter of Minister Malcolm X, according to many sources, they acquitted him of these murders, brother. Now you tell me if something fishy isn't going on or something in the milk ain't clean. You tell me. Now, I've never known any black man that's been acquitted of any murder, but this brother was acquitted of killing his own brother. He was acquitted of the shots against Dr. Khalid Muhammad. He was acquitted against holding people at gunpoint, making them buy the Nation paper. He was acquitted of robbing stores. for money from the black stores that would not buy the paper. He was acquitted of all of these things. He was one of the brothers that were moved from LA to New York 2 weeks prior to the minister Malcolm X being killed. And you can find these things. There's common knowledge. Just pull up James Best, the murderer, convicted murderer, James Best, Nation of Islam minister James Best. Whatever you do, you can pull up the same information. Pull up the same information. Just take your time to read. But this is a fact. These things are factual. And the brothers, sisters need to know this, that there are agents among us that have been stirring the pot with us, one another. And if you look at the Elijah Muslim under the most honorable minister Silas Muhammad, you see Muslims of the old day, which Dr. Khalid Muhammad loved this brother. He tried to bring peace between Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and Minister Silas Muhammad, but Minister Farrakhan didn't want to have anything to do with it. But if you go to Minister Silas Muhammad, you'll see real Muslims that are living the lives of Muslims, that are pushing for people, pushing the people toward Islam and pushing them toward doing for self and opening black business and all of that. They're still doing it. They haven't gotten off the path. And it was Minister Silas Muhammad that even performed, which is further suspicion, Minister Silas Muhammad that performed the funeral of Dr. Khalid Muhammad. Minister Silas Muhammad performed that funeral. And I've heard Sister Crystal Muhammad say she was there, brother. She was not present. She was not present.
So you saying, hold up. Let me get this sidebar real quick. Because I think Crystal Muhammad mentioned that on my show, that she had attended his funeral or something like that. And I think a lot of people try to use Brother Dr. Khalid Muhammad to validate themselves as a freedom fighter too. Many people do that. And when you go look at these websites, it seems like they have like a genealogy. It's Dr. Khalid Muhammad and then them, or the original brother, I think his name was Michael, who started the new Black Panther Party, and then Dr. Khalid Muhammad.
Another agent. That brother was an agent. He started. He came out of Minnesota.
Come on, Minister.
The brother was an agent, brother. This is a fact. He also worked with Homeland Security. I want you to check that. I noticed on one of you were talking about him, but you never got around to that. But Malik Zulu Shabazz also know he worked for Homeland Security because he made excuses for him when I challenged him about the brother. But that brother, he has several names, but the name we know him by is Michael. But he worked for Homeland Security.
Well, he had mentioned that he had a contract with Homeland Security.
But see, this is my contention, though, brother. If you are really fighting the enemy, then how can you work with the enemy and have a contract with him? I don't understand that. These things don't go together. And the other thing, take this on, for instance. If you look up my name, they'll tell you, the white man will tell you, they call me the cop killer. Never killed a cop a day of my life, but they dirty my name so that I won't be able to take any psychiatric patients. But that's okay, because black people that really know me and other people that I talk to in the black community, they still support my business. So, but I don't expect the white man to give me support for my business. I go to an all black town. I don't care if they have a white mayor. They're not thinking about no cracker mayor. The nationalists are not. The coons are. But the black nationalists will still see me as a psychiatrist. So they don't care. But you'll look on the web and you'll see them on the web. When they talk about me on the web, they'll tell you that I'm a racist. This is from the white media. They'll when they talk about Mauricelm X, first thing you see is my name. He was a member of the Black Nationalist Organization, African American Defense League. Now, in the little paper, they'll say, well, Dr. Millier or Minister Mauricelm X had nothing to do with it. But in the big papers, they've already destroyed it, saying that I arranged it, I was involved in it, and all of that. So I told him, I said, I've never been ashamed of anything that I've been involved in. But if I was involved in it, if I was something I had something to do with, 12 is too little. That's too small.
Have,
You
have,
know,
have
yeah.
you ever felt that you would? I mean, because what you talk is so raw. You drop it. You drop the names. You drop the situations. You drop the circumstances. Have you ever felt that you were so raw that you put your life in danger?
Oh yes. My wife can tell you, and this is just recently. They cut my brake line. We're setting up clinic in Asheville at that time, and black nationalist evangelism, if so to speak, and setting up the Nation of Islam the right way that it should be, and an Elijah Muslim temple, and they cut our brake line. My wife had a vision. The sister, pardon me for answering you this way, calling her my wife as a reference, but the sister had a vision, and she had a vision of my brake line being cut on the BMW. And so happens that we went over maneuver tactics and to be cautious. And the brake line had been cut, and we were going around coming around the mountain. And had it not been for the vehicle having a stick shift to it as well as automatic, I wouldn't have been able to maneuver the vehicle, brother. It was cold, and my wife, and 3 children would have went over the cliff. Prior to that, they tried to during the shooting in South Carolina. They tried to assassinate me there. We were at a Waffle House. My wife was with me, rather the sister was with me then. So, and these have happened. It's on a radio station that Terran X ran for the Can We Talk radio. If you go back and look up Can We Talk and put my name in and put in assassination attempt, you will see that on there I talked about it. They tried to assassinate me. I used Facebook and everything else to tell where I was so I could get help. So Malik Zulu Shabazz, after that, there's trouble between me and him. Now, I was in Maryland when they shot at me coming out of we had an old fire station there. It was in Clinton, Maryland. On my grandfather's land, there's an old fire station. And I held a black nationalist meeting there. It was a private meeting where I got shot at. I had my boys behind me, my little boys behind me. And one of the security, who was a Nation of Islam member and a nationalist, caught the buckshots in his arm, and was able to get us to safety, and we was able to get him somewhere so he could have the buckshots removed. As you know, when I came in the military, I studied surgery. That's how I came into the medical practice. But had they been successful, they would have gotten him, would have gotten his brother, would have gotten a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 1-year-old. They would have successfully gotten us. Now, the police said that there was gang activity in the area. You have to know the demon and the devil because they're both the same. The only thing is that the demon is black and the devil is white. See, the demon is who do the deeds of the devil. And so we got 2 of them because I came out with my 45. I never leave home without it. It's like American Express. Don't leave home without it. We got 2 of them. One was in a tree. We got him. I know I got 2 shots to him. And they were trying to wear black, but the light had their silhouettes. And the others they had got. And this is a fact. And the nationalists dare know about it because we were having a first meeting for the Black National Rifle Association. Now, if you look at NAGA now, is a major meeting called NAGA, and that's why they fear me. See, NAGA is together now. The National African American Gun Club. See? So they know it. They know it, brother. See, some of us are not afraid to die. I mean, that's fine if you gotta go. But I want to take at least 50 families with me from their side. It's fine. I'll go, but you gotta go too. And we can't. They're shooting us in broad daylight now.
Let me rewind. Let me rewind because I don't want to get too far away from Dr. Khalid. Goodness gracious, we ain't talking about that. I'm looking at who killed Dr. Khalid Muhammad. Who else?
It was a government job with black agents. you look at the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan during college years. You look at him during the Honorable Minister Malcolm X years. Here's a man that said he loved Minister Malcolm X. Yet you were the same man that said such a man as Malcolm is worthy of death. You say you love the Honorable Dr. Khalid Muhammad. Yet you were the same man that said that Dr. Khalid Muhammad had spoke things that were repugnant toward white folks. This same man.
Let me ask you, and I know this question may set some people mad, but I'm just interviewing as a journalist, and because the minister is one of my inspirations too, to see him to put what we see as the Nation of Islam today. I may not agree with all the teachings, but I do agree with how he put the nation philosophy on his back and what he has built from that philosophy. I don't know the interworkings of how it goes from him separating with Elijah Muhammad's son to what we see now, but I know he is one of my inspirations as he put it on his back at one time. But are you of the thought that the minister was complicit also?
Oh yes, and I say this, and this is from the relationship. I was in the Nation of Islam. I was brought in by Dr. Khalid Muhammad, so I can say this. And as he worshiped the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and I say worship, I fell in the line of that, and I believed everything that the minister said until he started letting these white folks in. I couldn't buy that. And if you look, his son is married to a devil, and they let her inside of the temple, which she has to be an agent. You can't say she's his wife; she's a devil, so she has to be an agent. But they let her in the temple, brother. Now I want you to check that. Now, this is your son. There's no way that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad would have let a devil come in on the arm of a Muslim, because it would have killed everything he was talking about. Here's the same man that said that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was a man that he had longed for all of the days of his life. Yet, you let a devil in. You said devils were able to join and all of that. You have to think about that, brother. You can't discount it. Of course, I love the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, but Father Flager is not my friend, and I won't coon for Minister Farrakhan. I won't con for him. I won't lie for him. I won't cheat, and I won't steal for him, brother. I won't do that because I don't think that's going to help him or me to do that. Yes, he's done some great things in the past, but as we see now, as the water settles, as the water is less disturbed, and we see the dust drop from morning to dawn to the bottom of the ocean, we begin to see clearly.
Let me say this real quick. Somebody asked me. I mean, this is a sidebar. Somebody asked me, Moorish World, bring on Sister Nandy. I have to speak to Sister Nandy before I bring her on, because it came to my attention that as Stinky Inky attacked my family, my children, and all of that via the internet, Sister Nandy was there in support of that by the way of commenting and things of that nature. I don't know specifically what she commented on, the comment about my son's mother who passed away, or my mother that Stinky plastered all over his screen. But anybody that supports someone that would attack children, that would attack people who have passed form, that are deceased, that had nothing to do with nothing with this internet nonsense. If anybody supports that, it's hard for me to support them. You know, exactly. like even if I didn't know someone, I could never support someone attack children, attack elderly. You know, my mother is going on 70. You know, a young, beautiful 70. Right. And to to see the screenshots of those things. But I'll bring Nandy on, and maybe we'll talk about it later. But I don't have nothing against her. I've been trying to reach out to her and talk to her. But I just wanted you to know I have no beef with Nandy. I need to just hear what she has to say about her support for Inky before she can come on the show, and I'll call her privately and get that. With that being said, That was a sidebar because I want to get back to what you were saying. So you are of the thought that that the minister was complicit, but how would you have him complicit? Would you have him complicit as setting the tone, or?
Oh yes. Well, not just that, not just setting the tone.
And let me say this to my brothers in the NOI, the brothers in the NOI. A lot of brothers in the NOI will get ruffled by this conversation and would even accuse me, but you don't like the minister, but you don't like the minister. I want to let people know that this is the internet age. This is the vlog age. And these type of interviews are the interviews I like. I like interviews that are raw. I like interviews that are uncut. I don't like play along, get along interviews. I just don't like it. I don't like play along, get along conversations. I like conversation that's going to call a spade. And then we can decipher and see if it's accurate or not. And so to my brothers in the NOI, this is a conversation and you are welcome to come and lay yours out. Because we're not going to do no debates on this channel right now. But what I will do is open the floor for one to express their position. But you got to be ready for the hard questions. You can't be oversensitive, because if you would say that, well, I don't believe Farrakhan did this because of A, and I might pose a question, well, what about B? Does this make it seem to be possible or something like that? And you can't get your feathers ruffled so easy if you come on Moorish World TV. We're going to keep it raw. That's what I'm known for. But we're going to keep it respectful too. Certainly. That's what I'm known for also. I've never cussed anybody out on my show. Never. I never used a curse word on my show.
Right.
Never. But so what do you consider the role, if there is a role, by the minister, whether it's by default or intentional or unintentional? What is your position on that?
Well, I think it was a sin of commission. I think it was a sin of omission. I think it was intentional, and I think that it was behind the scenes as well. That if someone is speaking in the light that Dr. Khalid did, and if you pull back security from him and then cause a ruckus within the nation against him, this puts the man in a position, puts him in a juxtaposition, and there's no place for him to turn. Now, I want you to understand that there was no evil word spoken against the minister. He had not broken any laws or anything like that. All of these cautions came after the white man said, especially Jewish devils, that, hey, we didn't like the speech at King College. So with the lightning speed and also the attachment of James Best in 1997, brother, it's too coincidental. Now, if you look in 1964, in latter 1963, late 1963, 1964, you see the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan in a paper called Hypocrite, written in the paper that the Honorable Minister Malcolm X made, was called Muhammad Speaks. If you look in that paper, when he says that that a man as such as Malcolm is worthy of death, they are manipulating the entire thing. He's doing it. You look, you can also see Captain Joseph X doing it. You can also see Wareem Muhammad moving in it. You can see all of this. You can see them moving. These are the pegs that had led Minister Malcolm to know about the stuff that was going on, for him to question and to put him in such a position while they were compromising. Now, I said that to say this. The Honorable Minister, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, had nothing to do with, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had nothing to do with the death of Minister Malcolm X. He had nothing to do with the death of Minister Malcolm. And I say this in our research, and I'll tell you why. The FBI and CIA, through Minister John Ali, the National Press Secretary, was manipulating, intercepting phone calls and letters where the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was trying to get in touch with Minister Malcolm, and the Honorable Minister Malcolm X was trying to get in touch with the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And this is common knowledge now. Now, there were movers, which the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan was one of them. Even today, if you love the Honorable Minister Malcolm X, as you say so, why would you leave his wife, his daughters out in the wind by setting the tone and the atmosphere and aggravating problems that were happening within the nation against this brother and his family? So you took the shepherd away from these sheep within your own pasture. Now, also, if you really love Minister Malcolm the way that you said that you love him, why did it take you over 30 years to see about, or to come see about, Sister Betty X and the children of the man that you say you love? Like, you can't respect that. And I want you to understand, I talk with power and emotion, brother, because when I was in the movement, and I'm still in the Muslim movement, I still am a Muslim. That is, my religion is still Islam to this day. But I challenge Muslims that say that they're living the life and living devotion of the teachings, living devotion to the teachings that were put in place to make the black community better. And so you can't love somebody on the one hand and then cause their assassination on the other. Brothers, it doesn't work. And if it was a legitimate mistake, why did you not backtrack to take care of his wife and his daughters? See, I don't understand that. You say you love the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. In 1975, and a lot of people don't know this assassination of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, which Minister Louis Farrakhan admits this, that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was assassinated. He admits it. In 1962 through 1975, he was given medicine. I'm trying to think of the name of it, but it was for pain, back pains, and he also had asthmatic bronchitis. And this medicine had a side effect where it would make you gain your face, gain weight, would also cause dementia, would also cause hysteria. So in light of it, a person's mental state could be altered. Your mental state could be altered. And I'm gonna say what that. I'm not saying what that medicine is right now, but I'm gonna tell you. And I'm being careful too because I have a license. But this is a fact. If you research it, this is a fact. So they took full advantage of this, and this medicine was also poisoning the prophet. This medicine was poisoning the apostle, so much so that they had to move him to Arizona, so that the natural climate could work for his asthmatic bronchitis. Well, tell me why the devils moved him back to Chicago, one of the coldest places in North America, and then moved him to New York to check on affairs, because they were trying to hasten the death. In 1975 of February, also, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was assassinated with medication. You can check this. Also, in 1965, February the 21st, Minister Malcolm X was killed. In February of the 18th, even though they say the 17th, February the 18th, going toward the 19th, almost midnight, Dr. Khalid Muhammad succumbed to death from poisoning in February. So you got all of these February deaths. All of these were February deaths, which is the government complicitation. When it comes to kill and murdering people, it is a dark humor. And if you don't take my word for it, go and search it. And you'll find that all of these men died in February. All of them had to die in February. Huey P. Newton would have died in February had not they had to hasten his death. And in 1971, he caused spotlight to be put on Minister Louis Farrakhan because they had a feud in 1971. This is also talked about in a book of Elaine Cleaver, Elaine Brown, and you will find it in history, a short recording where the Nation of Islam was ruffled when Huey Newton called Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to a meeting to challenge him on a speech where he was ripping the Black Panther Party down, calling them pigs and ripping them down. And Huey questioned them on it. The Black Panthers loaded their guns and cocked them. And if it had not been for Minister Louis Farrakhan calling a cease, then you would have had a bunch of black brothers dead in there. But I'm trying to tell you that you got the same individual in each of these cases of men that were dead, that had bad relationship with him. Brother, you can't tell me that something fishy isn't in that pond. There's some fish in that pond.
So are you basically you're saying that the same cards was played against Dr. Khalid Muhammad that was played against Malcolm X?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. All you have to do is research it. Oh, yes. The same cards. Malcolm's speech and what he said against, it wasn't against President Kennedy, but what he was saying was the climate of the chicken coming home to roost was a result of what the white man had planted around the globe had come back finally to get him. And when Dr. Khalid Muhammad, with that much nationalism in a new day Nation of Islam, they couldn't make the transition of cooning, and I say call it for what it is. They couldn't make that transition with a Khalid Muhammad in the Nation of Islam. There's no way they could make it. And they had to have nationalistic presence, so they needed Malik Zulu Shabazz to get close and to make sure that this kill would be a certain kill. I believe that, yes.
So are you of the thought, let's rewind for a minute. Are you of the thought that, man, people won't get mad at this line of questioning, but hey, I gotta ask, are you of the thought that Malik was a plant from the beginning? Or
oh yes,
a plant?
Oh yes,
You won't let
oh
me
yes.
Oh my goodness.
At Howard University, they got Malik Shabazz at Howard University. Oh yes, and I mean Howard is ripe for the picking, but it's a whole garden full of coons right at Howard.
Would you call it a coon's nest?
Oh, it's a coon's nest. Oh yes, oh yes.
Oh man. So from now, we know that the history is that Malik was of some sort of student union, and he was bringing in Dr. Khalid and the minister. And is that the way that he, as we say around the way that he cut into him?
That's how he got in. That's how he got in. Malik's mother is a millionaire. They're not clear on how she became a millionaire.
But nobody know who she is at this point. It's just that her name is something. Nobody knows who she is. The picture,
right. There's no, and that is suspect. You have to pay attention to that. If you go back, if you look at anybody, take me. I always pick on myself. I can pick on myself. If you take me, pull up my name, you'll find everything attached to me. Reverend Samuel Rogers, human rights worker. You'll find my father. He was a gun-toting preacher. He's a gun-toting preacher. I saw him with my own eyes shoot a white man trying to take his cattle. And I was about 7 years old then. And he asked me if I understood that this man came on him with the gun trying to take his cattle. And my father dealt with him like you deal with thieves and like you deal with murderers. He dealt with them. And my father continued to stay with us. Nothing happened. He called him and let him know that the man was dead. He called the law and let him know what the man tried to do and that he was dead. So if you pull me up, you're going to find these things. You pull me up, you'll find Khalid Muhammad, for the reasons that USA Globe was covering him at that time, and they were doing stories about nationalism. So if you find my mother's name, you'll find my mother's name. You'll find these names attached. You'll find Dr. Coretta King attached. Why? Because that was nothing new. Dr. Coretta King ran Kerfa Co-op for farmers. Her father was a large farmer. So my family was in farms. We helped in missions for human rights, and we did street ministry. So anyone so you should be able to find my parents. You could go on the internet and I could be anybody, a Joe Blow, and you could pull up that Joe Blow and you can find out where they used to live and everything. This is common knowledge when you do research. But when you can't find anything on a person's parent except what they're saying, brother, they're suspect. They're suspect. See, the internet is made by the white man for the black man, so he can find out. He knows all about us. Google is the best demonic tool they have. I use it against them because I try to find out everything I can against them using their own tool. But it's the best demonic tool they have because they can find out everything they want. They even got a Google satellite that can shoot down at where you and I are at any point. And if anybody was foolish enough to take the COVID vaccine, then we already know that they got satellites and bugs in them.
Well, with that being said, man, when you talk about Hashim, man, many people say that the way that Hashim, now I don't know, but there has been word that there's, let me put up my thing. Hold up 1 second. Let me put a bit. Allegedly that Hashim was put out the way also.
Oh yes. There was in November of 2013.
What I'm saying is that you know the words in the circles is that Hashim was an agent, and somebody ultimately got rid of him.
Yes. Well, they say somebody. Let's speak. The nationalist community know exactly who it was. They'll call the name. That when Malik Zulu Shabazz and Hashim Mzinga had an altercation after November 13th election, when Malik stepped down, Hashim was voted in legitimately as the Black Panther head or chairman. Now, Aaron Michaels challenges that, but he's an agent too. So you can't take nothing he says seriously. I mean, any man that is working with the enemy through a contract, you can't trust him. The enemy is paying him. He's eating and he's wiping his behind too when he uses the toilet. So you can't trust that. But now, when you talk about Hashim Mzinga and the way that he died, brother, he was feuding with Malik Zulu Shabazz the entire time. He made a new Black Panther Party. This Black Panther Party was supposed to be freedom or death. It was supposed to be full self-defense. He was going back to make partnerships with brothers that he had been turned against through Malik. And so, ironically, he comes up with cancer 8 months into the organization, and then another 4 months after that, he's dead. Now, this is very strange because he's feuding with the same person. Feuding with the very same person. And it's about some of the same stuff that's coming up. And he began to say, hey, he can't be trusted. And this becomes common knowledge. Now, Crystal Muhammad gets in there. Malik orchestrated the election of Crystal Muhammad. Crystal Muhammad. Oh, yes.
All right, hold on. I want everybody to know Mauricelm X, Minister Mauricelm X. I just put somebody say, who is the guy speaking? Y'all must be coming in late, but in the beginning, you already introduced yourself. But I just put it in there, his Instagram, so y'all know who we're speaking with. Man, hold up. Now they were seen to be feuding over Crystal Muhammad regime
Oh, yes.
as well as Malik regime.
Yes.
But then I found out recently that Malik and Crystal was having relations.
Yes.
And
Say
then,
it, brother.
and then when you talk about the split, when you just seen them together in Tulsa,
Right.
they came together like it wasn't nothing wrong after all of the words and the back and forth, and they got a picture together. I mean, nothing wrong with a picture and stand in solidarity. But are you saying that all of that was orchestrated also?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Malik Zulu Shabazz, his mother, I want y'all to look that up. His mother, they may say her name one time, and it's not even a real paper. It's something that was thrown out there. He may have created, the FBI may have created, CIA may have created, but this guy's in the center of all of this augmentations. Every time there's trouble with any nationalist organization, and he's there puppeteering the entire thing. He's got to be there in the middle. And he get in there, once he get in there, he destroys. He literally destroys what has been set up. And I agree. There's only the Black Panther Party. There's no new Black Panther Party because Dr. Khalid is dead. Only because Dr. Khalid is dead. But had he been alive, there would have been a new Black Panther Party because you know, in the old Black Panther Party, we have to be honest, if Huey Newton is killed, which at the same time there was a feud between him and Bobby Seale. What brought the feud? Bobby Seale come out on top with the children's book and a barbecue sauce. We call him the barbecue man. So this is suspect, but yet you kill Huey Newton, who's supposed to be a threat, supposed to be on drugs and all of that, and we challenge all of this. All of this can be challenged. But they had to phase out in the Reagan administration and the Bush administration in 1989. When Huey is killed, they have to phase out a true leader and nationalist that had come to terms with what they were doing in the community with these drugs, who has started what you see now, the alcohol and drug, what do they call it? The Alcoholic and Drug Anonymous.
ATF or AA?
Right.
AA.
AA.
Yeah.
So this is a way of fighting back, organizing to create another organization to fight back this, to get what? Brothers and sisters back into nationalism. Well, before the brothers' work was complete, we understand that they catch Newton and they drug him up and put him in a place where they've been planning all of these lies and ideas with the Soul Dad Committee and orchestrate the brothers' death, guerrillas' death. Now, after that, this brother himself suspiciously, we don't hear anything about. They covers it. Nothing happens to Bobby Seale. Nothing happens to any of the others. This is suspect. This is sudden. This is how the white man works.
So how do you correlate that with Hashim?
Well, the devil will,
because the initial question was Hashim a victim of?
Oh yes, that's my point. Is that the devil rewards is killers. America rewards is murderers. America rewards is murderers. If Hashim is out of the way because he had gotten a conscience, possibly, if he's out of the way and he's being contentious with Malik, which is dangerous to the governmental operation, then they're going to put down that threat. The white man works that way. You're going to put down that threat. So the threat is down. And what happens, here's some more sheep that are spurring out. Now you got another agent, but he's ignorant. He's a real dope. When you talk about Imam, he'll do whatever they tell him to do. But he works for Malik. He's loyal to Malik Imam. Imam Akbar.
Oh, yeah. In the comment section?
Yeah, Imam Akbar.
Ho. They are supposed to split, though.
Imam Akbar is loyal to Malik. Malik pays him with a government grant that he has to rehabilitate, quote unquote, rehabilitate homeless and putting them in shelters and giving them houses. And oh yes, this is in Chocolate City. I can show you where the place is. I've done my homework. Yes.
Let me.
He's loyal to Malik Zulu Shabazz.
I got to send this show to somebody real quick. So man, this rabbit hole is crazy.
Yes, it is.
This rabbit hole is crazy. So let me show you. I had people on my show, brothers and sisters on my show,
right,
that was a part of what we know to be the new Black Panther Party. And
a version of it. Yeah.
And what has come to is that they had split up. Brother got locked up in North Carolina, and Akbar, when the police pulled them over with the guns and they found guns in the car, Akbar allegedly tells them, look, they got the guns, turn the guns in, and they locked up a few people, and then Akbar walks away.
Yeah.
And I even said in the interview, that sounds a little bit strange, to me, that sounds a little bit strange, but I haven't been able to talk to Akbar. So I don't know the details behind that. But but are you saying that even though it appears that Akbar is split from Malik, it's still a working relationship there for a common goal?
Oh, yes. It'll never happen, brother. Show me one black man that have had guns and the police, they got guns and the police don't have permits for them, and the police will let him walk free, and he's the guy driving the car. You tell me. Now, brother, they came to pick me up. My wife and I were doing work. Me and the sister was doing work in Greenville. We were organizing a grant program, organizing a private grant program from a black brother. Thank God for him. All praises be to Allah. And we're going to receive that. Now, while that was being interrupted, they had shot a young 17-year-old young man in Pittsburgh, Philadelphia. We were on our way there. They found my location, wondered that I had a weapon, and took me in on suspicion to keep me from that campaign. And the sister would tell you. So you can lock a man up for suspicion who don't have a criminal record, who's never been in trouble, suspicion of a weapon, because you say that he organized an organization that are white cop killers. You'll lock him up, lock me up, brother, held me in South Carolina, transported me to Lexington, Kentucky. And you can pull it up. No charges. When they realized they made a mistake, they did a pretrial. This is them backtracking. Now, but till coming to an individual that had guns in the car and he was driving, which would make him responsible for the guns, and they let him go scot-free. Same thing with Khalid Muhammad. They said that the Panthers are attacking the police. She threw her hands up in surrender, and they locked those Panthers up. No, brother. You got to use your head. You got to. And I know this is an interview, so I know you're asking the question for the people on the outside, because I already know you up on it. You got to be.
So one of the viewers asked again, said, so who actually killed Dr. Khalid Muhammad? And I think what is being said is
the young lady, Malik Zulu Shabazz, and Hashim Nzinga. And this is our investigation. Malik Zulu Shabazz housed Dr. Khalid Muhammad in this is February of this is after he delivered the No More Negro Stuff speech. He goes to DC, around DC, to do certain speeches. Then he made one televised speech, not televised, but camera recorded speech there in DC. He goes to Malik Zulu Shabazz's home around 11, maybe 12 o'clock. I know that because he called us every time he stopped somewhere. He got a little rest. Before that, Malik fed him some food. Dr. Khalid was more relaxed than normal, from what I understand. Brother Steve said. They tried to give him food. A lady tried to pass him some food. Dr. Khalid wouldn't eat it. He looked at Hashim Nzinga, told Hashim to throw it away because we don't eat any food and we don't know that the hands are prepared. Dr. Khalid had an at random meal. That means when you stop, there's no plan in place. There's no no kind of repetition. You just stop somewhere and get something to eat because it's safe. And so he saw this food handed directly to him. But he had been poisoned coming out of for what Malik was. Hashim Nzinga picks him something up. He's more relaxed when he get to Atlanta. He picked him something up to eat, brought it to him. Dr. Khalid ate the food. They brought the sister some food also. Dr. Khalid began to throw up. This is the first time. He threw up 3 times. Okay, Dr. Khalid, after this, they began to have sex. Pardon me for answering you this way. They began to have intercourse. And once they had intercourse, then it brought up the poison because it had been worked through his system. Dr. Khalid threw up again. The young lady pulled the covers off the bed. Not in one of these times did they call the ambulance. Not in one of these times did they call Nation of Islam nurses that was set aside for Dr. Khalid Muhammad. Not one of these times did they call black Muslim doctors that was set up for Dr. Khalid Muhammad. I know for a fact because we have arranged these people, these brothers and sisters, wherever state he went in. And this was common knowledge. At this time, Dr. Khalid knew that they were agents. I tell you this, because we had already went over it several times, about 3 to 4 weeks earlier. When the last time he threw up, the sister, after the second time he threw up, the sister cleared the bed off. She called herself Sister Nefertiri, and another name as well. Had cleared the bed off. He was in the by the toilet. He had thrown up. They left him lying there. They didn't call the ambulance, brother. They didn't seek to get a brother any milk, any charcoal, anything that Muslims and black nationalists keep on hand in case you get poisoned. I know for a fact the brother kept things like that on hand. They didn't execute any of that. The young lady called Hashim Nzinga. Hashim Nzinga called Malik Zulu Shabazz. This is a fact. And one of the reasons why the government won't do a investigation because it'll show the phone record. They waited 9 hours, brother. 9 hours while this brother lay in his sputum and didn't call. And I also say this, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan never visited Dr. Khalid, never showed any concern, the same way he never visited him and showed any concern after he had been shot in 1997 in Los Angeles. So this, you say you love a brother, this strikes me. Now, Dr. Khalid is in the Pantheon just like Minister Malcolm X. But that is you ever seen, notice that anytime in America, when a nationalist or even a white nationalist, such as the Kennedy brothers, are killed, they'll have a holiday in their honor. They'll have a day in their honor, but they never show emotion toward that individual. Well, you got Negro pens, devils, blacknecks, sellout, turncoats, fakes, phonies, cons that are blackface in white spirit that do the very same thing. The very same thing, brother. And this can't be denied. If the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan truly loved Dr. Khalid Muhammad, and I say this about a man that I would have died for, I would have died for Dr. Khalid Muhammad and put myself in harm's way on many occasions with him upbraiding me up and down because it was against what he had me there to do. I would have died the same way for the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, but I don't think he's in any danger of being killed, no matter how often he says it, because you're doing exactly what the enemy has ordered you to do. You did it in the 60s and you're doing it now. You're doing it now. So I don't think he's in any danger. I think he'll be around for a long time. And I think they'll fight to keep him around the same way they would Al Sharpton, the same way they did John Lewis, who was another coon, fake. I'm glad that he's dead. That's one less devil we got to deal with. The same as they've done every other devil that has come before us to keep us silent, including Jesse Jackson, who's responsible for the death of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
I don't know if I can take it anymore. Good goodness, I can't take too much more of this. Brother, this is some serious demonstration right here, man. Oh my goodness. So you think it was a three-team plot?
Oh yes.
You said the ex-wife or the lady, Hashim and Malik.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
And you think and you're saying that the minister set the tone.
Oh yes. Same way he did in the 60s against Minister Malcolm. Oh yes. And if you look at Dr. Khalid's son, Farrah, call himself Farrah Gray now. He was little Farrakhan Muhammad in the day. That's how we know him. He gets $1 million, brother. Millions of dollars for coming up. You know how this is supposed to be responsible for business that took him up. The enemy, if you look at all the mothers that lost sons, all the mothers that lost sons when they were killed by the police, same thing happened to them, and this money debilitates them. Trayvon Martin was killed. The nation was right to go to war. Blood would have went to the horse's bridle. But to settle that, our president, Barack Hussein Obama, the one you thought was black, we all thought it was black, thought it was the first black president. He was black on the outside and white on the inside. And he swept that Trayvon Martin thing under the rug, gave the parents $18.6 million to keep it hush-hush. Well, these white folks were killing so many people fast until they say, hey, all we got to do is dump some money in these niggas' lap. And we dump some money in these niggas' lap, they'll take that money and everything will be all right. Well, you saw mothers when their son got killed and we started going out and organizing against the enemy in these campaigns. You started to see that the parents was quickly turn on us once they got that money. The whole thing was to get them the money. Nobody except Tamir Rice's mother. Tamir Rice's mother is the only one that has stayed sincere, and we continue to work on a case, and the government continue to work against us. Proof of which, Tamika Mallory, another agent, one of the best agents they got, that comes from the palm of Al Sharpton, has been working against us in that. And,
we got to bring you back. I'm getting a mental note of all of this because it seems to me that you are well studied, well versed in all of these people that have rose in the name of freedom fighters in our community.
Right.
And I think we need to have you on for a series so we can look into some of this stuff and have a conversation.
Oh yes.
About some of these, about some of these that has popped up and that has been groomed in order to direct the masses. Because in the title of this, I put are they trying to kill the revolution?
Yes. There's a death for the revolution. The killing of Tupac was a time killing. Khalid talked about it, and then if you notice when they did that to Tupac, what was it, 1997? When they did that to Tupac, if you look, also in 1997, Dr. Khalid was shot, but Dr. Khalid is speaking and had made a strong alliance with Tupac. This is how we got the use of the Tupac Center. You see, this is the thing that the white man don't want you to know, but you got to do the math on it. But you got to be Elijah Muslim to do the math on it. You can't be a Farrakhan Muslim, brother, because he's wishy-washy. So you can't be wishy-washy.
What's the difference between a Farrakhan Muslim and an Elijah Muslim?
Well, a Farrakhan Muslim are they're white Holy Ghost preachers.
Bro, you ain't.
Yeah, they're white Holy Ghost preachers. They preach is nothing but a Pentecostal movement of Muslims that say that the white man is their friend. See, so they've successfully broken into the Muslim movement and gotten white people in there teaching a type of holiness where they concentrate directly on the messianic teachings of Jesus being the Messiah. I am He. So if you do that, you move the most honorable Elijah Muhammad out of the way. You moved him out of the way. Now, when you got a Elijah Muslim is going to pay attention to every jot and tittle that Elijah Muhammad says, because he believed that the truth was given to him, which is awaken us, awaken the black man. The truth was given to us to build up ourselves and to awaken from this slumber. Where we're slumbering in drugs, then we're awakened from that slumber. We come out the tomb of drugism. If we're in the tomb of crime, then we're being resurrected from the tomb of crime. If we're in the tomb of drugs and alcoholism, then we're being raised up from those tombs. So when he calls us forth, as Lazarus was laying in the tomb, and he called Lazarus forth, when he called us forth, and then the day came when he called Jesus forth, then we'll come forth like Jesus, and we'll come forth to be tried by fire, brother, and we will survive the fire because we know that the devil is the enemy. We know that he is over this world. He's not in control of it, but he's over this world. So we have to understand that anytime that you have a man that will come in your face when the white man is killing you every day, when the white man is starving you and he's put you in these situations, and you come to find out that this man is the same man as this brother that was once telling you the white man was the devil, the white man is his friend, that this is a brother you need to watch. You got to watch that brother, because this brother is dangerous. Brother is dangerous. I've seen black people that befriend these white people, and you end up finding them dead, and you can't find the white person once they're dead, and then all of a sudden the white person surfaces again, and he claimed claim that his innocence, and then you find out that somebody else that was hanging around the same white person is dead. These are people that are dumb, because the common denominator is white and death. They go together. There's a pale rider on a pale horse, brother. They go together.
You don't have no skepticism of the things that you're saying that's going to give you some drawback?
Oh no, I have no skepticism. I found these things to be true. I myself loved the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan as deeply as Dr. Khalid did, if not more. But when I began to see changes and funny moves being made that he was making, and began to see the similarities of these moves when the Honorable Minister Malcolm X was alive, and I began, and I talk to you as one who had studied and researched and even had an interview with Sister Betty Shabazz in 1986 through 1988. So I tell you the questions that I asked. I had real questions, and she herself told me, she said, continue to research and continue to keep clean water in your glass. You look like a clean glass of water. And continue to do research, and you discover these answers for yourself. She said, but as for me, she said, I don't see how anyone could love someone and then say anything to cause their demise. And that is the biggest lesson that I've learned myself, brother. Biggest lesson I've learned.
What have you to say that let me I just looked up something real quick, and I want to share it with you because I remember me seeing this before. What have you to say about someone that would say that these are Latinos and not Europeans, well, as you said, the white man or white woman or something like that?
Well, I would say this. I've never met Mexican. These are not real. For one thing, they're not real Latinos. Let's make that plain.
They're not real ones.
They're not real. So let's be plain about that.
Bro, you be
Because Latin speakers were Ethiopian, and the first words that they spoke were Amharic.
right.
And these are not Ethiopians. They haven't spoken Amharic. But if you go in southern Mexico, you would see the true Latino. You would see the true mestizo. And I know that because I've been there and I've seen them.
Right. So are those would you say, and I'm only asking, would you say that those are Spaniards that speak Spanish?
Oh yes, they're Spaniards, and they speak Spanish. Yeah. And they've been manipulating. There's a big difference in Spanish and Spanish, because the true Latinos speak Spanish because they're mestizos, and this is a colloquial of a people that keeps an African dialect. But when you say Spanish, this is equivalent to the teachings and the institutions of Spain. And notice I say institution. These institutions are the same institutions that keep racism alive. And if you notice with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he always keeps a light-skinned Muslim in every position that you see in the Nation of Islam. And I never met a Mexican. I'll say this. Very few. I never met a Mexican that has never turned on a black or never thought himself above a black. Never in my life.
Do you have anything against the Minister Louis Farrakhan?
Oh, no.
Because I've always, when I've talked to you privately, you always talk, I mean, you always been raw and blunt with your truth, but you always talk in a way that you had some respect for him, and you acknowledge some of the great things and good things that he done, as you mentioned on the show tonight. But for the people, do you have anything against him personally?
No, not personally. I am hurt at the death of Dr. Khalid Muhammad. I'm hurt about what happened, but that took me years even to admit that. But as far as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and you notice I still say honorable because that's the title that he has, and I know it's a lot of the title that Muslims receive, and I respect the title. But I would say that he's been less than honorable with the things that he's done. And I don't think anyone is above reproach. If he has been involved in something that is sneaky, something that is freaky, or something that is foolish, or something that is fishy, I think he needs to be called out on it. And I don't think he is above reproach. And I'm just weary of anyone that come in a black organization, you'll let them in before you will let a black man in that you knew were dedicated. How could you throw Dr. Khalid Muhammad out and let these white people in? The Mexican man is the white part of the Spanish man. He is the white part. He is the devil of Mexico. You got the devils of America. So that's the devil that mistreat the black Mexicans in Mexico.
Right.
You see, and this is common knowledge. So the Mexican is going to always go with the white man. So the question is how many police out of these that are coming in the nation are Mexican, and then how many of them are CIA agents, and how many of them are FBI? I think that's the thing that we should be asking ourselves.
Bro, you hit real heavy tonight, brother. I think we got to come back. Anybody have any questions in the chat? I think we're going to come back and we're going to talk about the death of because brother got a wealth of information. The death of Martin as it relates to Jesse Jackson.
Oh yes.
Before we get to that, I'd definitely like to talk about Miss Tamika Mallory.
Oh yes.
You know, it amazed me that they made a lot of fuss about our sister Breonna Taylor. But nothing really came of it as it relates to moving the media forward so this won't happen again. You know, it seemed like a check was cut. A lot of award shows was given, Cadillac commercials and all of that. And I can't remember in any history of any freedom fighters where they celebritized themselves to the point where we forgot about the victim and those who have been victimized.
Oh yes, it's a whole. You know, I said this
Have you
about
noticed that it seems as
yes.
though that these freedom fighters of today that use people's name to pivot themselves into stardom,
Oh yes.
the moment that they become celebritized, we forget about the victim that they use to springboard themselves. And not me, but I'm just talking about the public. Is now
Oh yes.
focused on this person that has springboarded off of a death.
Oh yes. It's a whole new form of reality TV. Whole new form of reality TV. And Tamika Mallory, it comes from Al Sharpton. I mean, that should say it all. So when she came, she's paid to come through angry, act like she's angry. She cried when she said U.S. airline mistreated her and threw off. Wouldn't let her fly, you know. And I saw people get angry about that. And initially, before I did the real study and take, because you had to be very crafty studying Tamika Mallory, because initially I thought that, well, she's in some real danger. But how can a black young woman get all of this power, brother, and has the ability to turn over some table and really wreak blood and haven't done it? You can't do it. You can't do it. So at least we can respect Jada Pinkett Smith for saying this. When I was a revolutionary at that level, I could be supportive to people at that level. She says, now in my profession, she said, I like to bring people on to get to the bottom of what's going on. Now, anybody with any mind and sense know that she was a major supporter of Khalid Muhammad, major supporter of Tupac, major supporter. She bought land, was going to push in the New Wapian movement and to build temples, NOI and otherwise there, and to create a battleground during the time of Khalid Muhammad, during the time of this great joining of Tupac Shakur. Now, I said that to say this. She brought Tamika Mallory on there and asked every other question and really peeled her like a banana, brother. But if you were asleep, you didn't see it. You see? So at her level, she still functions as a nationalist. And I hope I'm not getting her in trouble by saying this. But she still functions as a nationalist on that level, but she peeled her like a banana. And Tamika Mallory is so full and so rank with pride, brother, she didn't even see it. She didn't even see it, but she's in no danger of getting hurt. I believe she is a badge carrying CIA agent or FBI. I mean, you look at her, listen to her talk, she moves and operates like an agent and a cop. And I've said that for years, that she moves in a military manner.
They say you way past trouble, OG. That means you went all the way up. You went all the way up.
Oh, yes. So we have to be honest with ourselves. And I said, because I've been a revolutionary, and I'll take the bite of being a revolutionary, and against my will. Because, and I say this, I say against my will because nobody in their right mind would want to step out and advocate like this, but we have no choice. We don't have feeding missions, so we had to set up feeding missions. I thank Allah for my grandfather who helped do that. My father was major supporters of those things. We don't have shelters now. We've got to try to find shelters. And all this for our people. This COVID-19 thing that's going on is to shut down the black businesses, the black churches, to shut down black community, the black ed community, and all of that. And brothers and sisters are still sleeping.
Let me rewind, because I want to get a few questions that people asked in the chat real quick. One of the questions was, how do you feel about Minister Farrakhan, NOI, teaming up with Ron Hubbard and Scientology?
Well, I said it before, and you go on YouTube, I talk about it. I asked, does Elijah Muhammad need any help from L. Ron Hubbard? Now, L. Ron Hubbard, brother, stole everything that he had from the teachings of Master Fard Muhammad, because they were receiving this in the teachings in the 20s and the 30s. This is a fact. Anybody that does research can tell you this. But when you rewrite something, see, that's for you to take credit. So L. Ron Hubbard took the credit, again, moving it away from the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who was talking about the mother plane and all of that. If you look at L. Ron Hubbard's writings, before that he talked about Westerns. He wrote about Westerns. He wrote about romanticias and things like that. He wasn't concentrating on those things. But when he stole this knowledge that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was receiving from Master Fard Muhammad, then people began to pay attention to him, and this comes up the Church of Scientology and all of that. I said that to say this: the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad needs no help from L. Ron Hubbard, but Louis Farrakhan did, and for that reason, he bought L. Ron Hubbard's manuscript and he used it. Well, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was already talking about the mother plane, so why would he need any help from L. Ron Hubbard and another white man? Another devil. See, you got to see it the way I do. Just don't look at it from an angle. Just look at it like it is. One devil helping the other. You got to look at it like it is. And so he don't need any help. He don't need any help. L. Ron Hubbard is a devil. Okay, so the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is taking the Nation of Islam. He's taking it almost completely away from the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And if you look, and there's no pun intended for anyone that's struggling with their weight, but when the Muslims were during the time of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and they were practicing on their eating, and you look at the ones today, you'll find a massive weight gain. Massive weight gain. And I'm not talking about obesity. I'm not talking about being stout, because black people were stout naturally, but I'm talking about a massive weight gain to obesity in Muslims that had not been seen before. So he's not eating to live; he's living to eat. Because you look at him, he's even gained a lot of weight.
My goodness, brother, my NOI friends gonna be calling me, going, Malcolm Flex gonna be calling me. Everybody gonna be calling me, man. Malcolm Flex, don't call me Malcolm Flex, man. Please, don't call me.
I welcome brothers to question, and be hard questions toward me. I welcome that. I welcome all of it, because here's the thing, brother. When you're speaking the truth, you have nothing to be afraid of.
They go blow my phone up though, big bro.
I already know it. I already know it.
I wanted to ask you. Somebody also asked in the comment section. They said, I don't know if you will you follow me when I was covering Grandmaster Jay?
Oh yes.
Oh, so they asked, what do you think about Grandmaster Jay? Do you feel like he's an agent, opportunist?
Oh yes.
Your thoughts on Grandmaster Jay?
Oh yes. There's no way. Now, my organization is African American Defense League. You've heard of that. If you pull up African American Defense League, you'll see the white man is absolutely horrified of it. Now, and you've never seen openly us carry any weapons we move in any place, which we don't carry it in the open. I'll put it that way, and I'll leave it at that. But when you see black men, over 400 black men marching through white neighborhoods, brother, with weapons, and the police not doing anything but helping them come through, brother, what do you think it is? They received the highest order from the CIA and the FBI and the president himself, and it rolls on down and said, let them niggas march on through. They're going to keep the nationals in order. We'll be able to catch the other one that is a real danger. And if you look,
bro, you did knock that one out the park. I've been saying that from day one.
If you look,
it's to bring out the real ones and
bring out the real ones and to trap them. And to trap them. Yeah. So it's no doubt. It's no doubt. So, and I've paid attention to it. They don't give, no real nationalists have received any stimulus yet. If you're familiar with it, they don't give it to nationalists. They don't want them to bounce back. Refunds. They don't get that. They don't get tax refunds. I file because I know that that's the one less battle I have to fight. So I'm always file, but they're not going to give it to you. Yeah. You'll never get it. You never
brother,
get it.
listen, we got 2 hours in, brother. We got to come back again. Man,
Yes.
come on, brother. You got to come back again, brother. What is your
Anytime.
YouTube channel? Because I got one more question before we roll out. Because what is your YouTube channel?
My YouTube channel is Minister Mauricelm X Speaks, and so you can go to Minister Mauricelm X Speaks, and you'll find it. Just type in Minister Mauricelm X on YouTube, and you'll find it.
So, Minister, who in this day and time, in the public, that's well known, who's not working against us?
I tell you this, and I just found this out recently, and all you got to do is put up Freedom of Information Act, such as FOIA.
So
you'll find out that Charlemagne the God is an agent, and I'm saying this, and it can be proved. I want you to pull it up. Just don't take my word for it. Just go on and pull it up. The brother had been several convictions overturned. All of the Breakfast Club is working with the government. There was something happened to a young kid in Little Rock, Arkansas, where the teacher made him take his hands and dig it in a toilet full of feces. And they covered it very briefly, but they wouldn't hold a show on it. We had touched on the situation. They wouldn't hold a show on it. Now, I said that to say this. When Charlemagne had talked about it, I guess it made the supporters, his money supporters, mad because they started leaking all this stuff about these rapes that he was doing with these young girls and all of that. And they came out swinging. And there must be something with him and Angela Ye, because Angela Ye began to create shows to divert it. But if you notice, she's very close to Charlemagne, even though they don't let her too much say anything on the show. She can't really. I think that's in the script. They focus everything around Charlemagne the God, but he's the lead agent over the show. He's a contact man. And if you look to find out any kind of contribution he's made to black nationalism, you can't find any. You can't do it. So they're putting everything in place. They're putting everything in place to trap nationalists. They even shot up little Boosie, brother. I was going to get a chance to was trying to organize a meeting with him. Was trying to organize it through his, he has his own criterion you have to fulfill to do that. The brother, but he's not hard to reach out to. They shot him up when he got on this kick about the rappers being made less potent because of this homosexuality. And he proved it. Ja Rule, he put Ja Rule out. Ja Rule had to come out and admit that he had slept with Little Nas. And Little Nas is a flaming faggot.
Oh my goodness, bro.
So he said himself. He said it. He said it. He was a flaming faggot. It came out of his mouth, Little Nas. So Ja Rule, he ain't got no album going. How's he staying afloat? Now these guys have to sleep with each other as part of the industry, and the LGBT keeps money with these guys. You see, because they started all of this way back. You look at the rappers now, you look at all the rappers now, and all of them are sleeping with one another. All of them are sleeping with one another. Puffy, you see him wearing wigs now. He's just going crazy. His name now is Sean Love.
Sean Love. Who is not an agent?
I don't know. I think that's a good question. I think that if you're in the nationalist community, I think you should be suspicious of everybody. I think the nationalist community should be suspicious of everybody. I'm a skeptic.
Right.
And it makes me research. But you have a real nationalist community out there now that is fighting. You have a real nationalist community out there fighting. Your show is out there because you're putting the truth out. You're a nationalist. You're a real nationalist. There are brothers and sisters on the show that support the show. They're nationalists. Allah used you to blow up Polite, to blow up Sarnetta. Polite has been dancing with white women since 10 years ago.
That's right.
You see? Sarnetta's been dealing with these white people for a long time too. And yes, he was a known crack addict. If you were in, yes, he was. If you were in
You don't stand nobody.
if you were in the New York organization, Nationals organization, Sarnetta was in the crowd asking Dr. Khalid doing that, and you can find this on camera, asking him questions on what could he do. So they were planning. Agents amid Nationals community have been doing it a long time. Ever since the Panthers came on the scene in '69, they've been doing it. The first time they did it was with the drug thing. They started making drug dealers out of them. Then after that, they started making other waves, went to these opioids where they're popping mollies. Well, when they did that, the white kids were already doing that, so they shook it up. You look at Lil Wayne. When he first came out as a hot boy, he was potent. Now he's a cold coon, and he's married to a white woman. So his fire's been put out. He's no longer a hot boy. He's no longer a hot boy. He's a cold coon now. Cold girl. Whereas one time he was pushing Birdman, now he's pushing Jay-Z. See how it works?
Brother, you just too much.
The truth, brother.
Hold on. I'm trying to get people to your channel. Let me see if I can get your link real quick. Okay. Mauricelm X speaks. I want to get people to your link real quick, brother. So pretty much, I got it. It's a Brother X Black Coffee Party USA. Is that one?
Oh yes, that's it. That's the actually Anthony X helped organize that. Okay. And so a lot of the work they did there was them, and they a lot of the shows they chose, except the last 2 years, I chose those. The last thing you see in the last 2 years was the ones that I chose because I began to find some things that they were inaccurate about, and I went back to correct.
So let me ask you this as I wrap it up with this, because we're gonna come back here next week and get into some other topics. And I'm putting the link in there. Y'all should go subscribe to the channel now, brother. I can't be putting your channel up here. You got to keep that content flowing up there because that's what they're gonna go looking for now.
Oh yes.
What I wanted to ask you was, there was word that even Sarnetta played a role in the cover-up.
Oh yes.
Of maybe not even reporting it, not talking about it. I've never heard him talk about Dr. Khalid Muhammad's death. I actually asked him myself, and he kind of stays away from it. He avoids the conversation. Even when it happened, he was on the streets of Harlem, selling his DVDs, and
that's correct.
And I think he had fell out with Dr. Khalid before he passed, though. I don't think.
Yes,
I think he uses Dr. Khalid as his claim to fame, but I'm not sure. But it was said that he had left the Black Panthers before Dr. Khalid passed. However, he never reported, never said anything, never did all of his research about the Hebrews. He never did anything about Dr. Khalid.
He was never. He came that I know of one meeting. I remember him in the meeting because I remember pointing him out. Dr. Khalid at this particular meeting, and you can find this. You can find the meeting where he's talking. He's saying they're asking Dr. Khalid questions. He's doing the same year that he's doing no more Negro stuff. He went around speaking this in New York, DC. Then he came to another part. I think it was Pittsburgh. Then he came to back to DC. Then he went to Atlanta. But he was never a follower of Dr. Khalid Muhammad. He's another glory seeker. So that is a glory seeker, and he'll go with anything.
He say he was a member of the Harlem chapter, though.
No, he wasn't, sir. And ask anyone in Harlem.
I asked him about. He had a picture with Dr. Khalid, Aaron Michaels.
Well, they took pictures. They took pictures
about Aaron Michaels. He said he don't know him. He said he don't know him. He only just took the picture with him. I thought that was pretty strange too.
Yeah, he in the earlier years, Michaels traveled with Dr. Khalid. It's only when Michaels disappeared that we talked about that. We became concerned because you couldn't hardly get in contact with him anymore. So
do you think they
there's
got
no
to
way
Sinetta
that
too?
huh?
Do you think they got to Sinetta too?
Well, I think Sinetta, the fact that when Dr. Khalid found him, he was on drugs again. I remember exactly. I remember several of them exactly. Sinetta was on drugs. He asked a question in the meeting. They were taking pictures with brothers. A lot of people back then, they would take pictures with him.
But he had on the Black Panther outfit. He had on the tam and everything.
Well, you could buy those. You could buy those in any garage.
So you said that Sinetta wasn't even Black Panther.
I'm trying to tell you, it was no Panther.
Hold on, let me find the picture.
It was no Panther. You could buy that in any garage. Any garage. Yeah, you can get.
Hey, brother,
it's New York.
You're going too far now.
It's New York. It's New York, just like in DC and Maryland.
Brother,
come on, brother. You know about the hustle.
In any garage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. Bro, you got to stop. Come on, bro.
Hollywood does it every day. Hollywood does it every day, brother.
So you said Sinetta front. He was
never a follower.
Stop, brother. Stop.
I would know. I kept the names. I kept the pad. I had to investigate every individual. I could tell you those that were definitely a part of it. Those were definitely a part of the paramilitary, the rank and file, and I could also tell you the one that was in the private inner circle. I had to keep a pad, had to constantly do research, had to constantly do it. So no. And Dr. Khalid, I want you to understand something. He ran like a full machine. If you marched behind him, he trusted you. He wouldn't even allow you to march behind him if he didn't have trust. And when you see us march in Texas, you'll see me behind him, flanked. The outside, the second row was for protection. For protection. So you Sinetta, I've never seen him in any evolution. The only interlude I saw him in is when we were in the meeting. He stood up to ask some question, what could he do? And you see him. I mean, he was scrawny. He was on drugs at that time.
Right there. You see him right there?
I see him there.
His name was
I see him there, but he was no Panther. No Panther.
He said he was the chairman of Manhattan.
No, he wasn't, brother. Ask anyone. Look, you take it for you're a good researcher.
But I asked him, did he ever meet or rather talk to Aaron Michaels? And this before I told him that I had the picture. He said no, he never spoke to him. And I said, I thought that was strange.
Impossible.
And then I said, well, I have a picture that I found in doing some research. And he said this to me. He said, oh, no, that was just a picture. And I thought that was rather strange.
Impossible. And another thing, too, when I look at this picture, brother.
No, let me say this to people in the chat. This was a real conversation. And if you are friends with Sinetta, ask him yourself. I asked him, have you ever had a conversation with Aaron Michaels? And the reason why I asked him, because Aaron Michaels was coming on the show. We never got around to doing the show, but he was coming on the show. He ultimately came on the show for a conversation. You follow me? He came on the show for a conversation. But before that happened, I reached out to Sinetta and I asked him, I said, brother, do you know Aaron Michaels? The reason why I wanted to do that, because I wanted to get some questions to ask them from someone who actually spoke with him and been under his rank and file. Then I proceeded to say, I have this picture that I found in my research, searching for Aaron Michaels. And I said, it was you and Dr. Khalid. And he avoided the conversation completely.
That's because he knows that you had his neck in a noose. He's never been a Panther. And I challenge that picture because when I look at the picture, and I want you to understand that Dr. Khalid made me a very good investigator. As I told you before, I had to do so much investigation. He had me working with Steve Coakley on investigation concerning and Miss Coretta King let us do it concerning Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And if you look back through history, you find out that this is true. Now, when I look at that picture, the shadows don't make any sense. If you look at Dr. Khalid Muhammad, his neck is extended on this picture. His arm looked like it has been layered. I want you to bring that picture back up. And this picture, something's wrong with it. See, we have to judge everything. If you look at this picture, I want you to bring it back up so the people can see. I want them to see what I see when I look at this picture. If you look, it looks as if Dr. Khalid's arm is layered. Look at his neck, brother. Now look at his arm. Now there's a brother behind him. There's a brother behind him. Now look at the cast of the shadow on the wall. This doesn't make sense. Sarnetta's shadow is hardly there. This is something that is audiographed. This is a pictograph, and they've done it. If you look at the shading of the skin is even wrong. Dr. Khalid was a very dark man. Even on a light camera, he would have a dark hand. He was that dark. And I just want you to pay attention to things like this. See, this is how the CIA and the FBI will get us caught up. This is how we get caught up. And Sarnetta, who was used, had obviously forgot the lie that they set up. So now when we throw the ball up, he can't even catch it. When you look at Reverend Jesse Jackson during the time of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
I'm looking
Look at it. When you look at Jesse Jackson and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., when you look at the last speech that he made, the mountaintop speech, which came at G.E. Patterson Church, Mason Temple in Memphis, Dr. King, when he's there with him, Dr. King doesn't even acknowledge Jesse Jackson. But Jesse Jackson becomes an heir apparent because this is what America wants. So instead of Ralph Abernathy or Andrew Young, they make Jesse Jackson the heir apparent. But when you go back and look at the mountaintop speech, I wish you could pull it up while we're here. You'll find out that Dr. King don't even acknowledge Jesse Jackson. He won't even shake his hand because at that time they knew he was an agent. The day prior, they told him, said, don't wear a turtleneck, Jesse. We want you to wear a tie. Jesse wouldn't wear a tie. The FBI told him, and this is found in the book Killing King. Also, it's found in another book called The Shakedown. They tell Jesse Jackson that the friendlies would not wear ties, so they would know not to be hit. Now, when you look at this picture, I want you to look. Look how strong their shadow is. Look at Sarnetta's shadow. There's a reason for that. And you can't cast a shadow on dark images. You can't do it. And if you look behind Sarnetta, they got a little shadow behind him, which makes absolutely no sense in that kind of lighting. That kind of shadow would be cast under the sun. And I want you to do your research to see that this is true. Dr. Khalid, look at his face and look at his hand. Look at the extension of his neck. Look at the layer of his elbow. This is not a good picture, but it's what they do. This is what they do. If you could pull up the last speech, brother, go on YouTube, pull up the last speech at Mason Temple that Dr. King did. He doesn't even acknowledge Jesse Jackson. His own wife, Dr. Coretta King, his own wife, said that there was turmoil between Jesse Jackson and Martin Luther King before he died. That Dr. King didn't trust him. He didn't want to work with him. His own wife wouldn't acknowledge him during the funeral. And his own followers wouldn't acknowledge Jesse Jackson when he flew after King had been killed. He flew from Memphis when no plane could get out and flew into Chicago.
Brother, oh my goodness, brother. You are not playing here tonight. Brother, you are not playing here tonight, brother. Listen, I want to thank you and your family for allowing us this 2.5 hours. I don't want it to go much further because I don't want it to drown out the time factor. But brother, we got to return this next week, brother.
Certainly, brother.
We got to return this next week. We have to. It'll
be a pleasure to get Dr. Khalid some due. He deserves it, brother. And we've got to uncover this assassination.
I want to go into a little more of these intricacies that's been played against us by those that look like us.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
I want to go into some of those things. And man, this man, you know, I have myself as a exceptional researcher, but you just really made me reconsider to zero in on items that's worthy of research just a little bit more. Now, in conjunction of that picture that I just now zeroed in just a little bit more, I go back into the conversation and where the brother was clueless. He literally dropped the ball and said he never had a conversation. That was just a picture. And I'm like, Ern Michaels. He act like he didn't even know who Ern Michael is.
He didn't, bro.
And I'm not lying. I'm not saying this because I have some conflict with Sanetta. I'm saying this because when I called him, it appeared to me that he didn't even know who Aaron Michaels was.
He didn't, brother. He didn't, because the picture is a fake and he's a fake. So when these white people set you up, if you look at, I hate to use this as example, and excuse me for using this as example, but when you look at Farragher, with all due respect to the Honorable Dr. Khalid Muhammad, when you look at his son, who calls himself Farragher now, he's supposed to have made millions of dollars from these book ideas on how to direct currency and how to have a successful business and all of that. And no matter what you do, brother, this brother now, they got him in this. Blacks are saying they're being frauded by this young brother and saying he don't know the first thing about business and any of that. Now, it's suspect that at 14 years of age, that he will become wealthy anyway. This is suspect.
Yeah, a lot of that is used to funnel CIA money too.
Oh yes. So. Oh yes. And if you can see, money, the love of money is the root of all evil. And so it's the best tool that the devil has. Now, we lost everything. Nationalism caused us to lose everything. Even some of my mental health equipment, such as divans and all of that, we work hard to get. Work hard to push out credit for. My sister, my wife, I call her the sister in respect, lost musical equipment, expensive clothing, all that stuff in our our travel RV being pulled by a truck, F-250. They came and took all of this. We worked hard for it. They came and took all this, but this is how we would tour around the city. I find it strange that these present nationalists don't go through this stuff. It's just strange, brother. I mean, it boggles the imagination. They don't, the government don't go against them in this new day of nationalism. They won't recognize the evil that's happened. Now you can get white Muslims that can come inside the temple now. Now,
I want to say this. Hershey Mara said, I was all the way with it till they claim that the photo is fake. I think what people trying to look at is that it's a real, they think it's a real Polaroid photo.
Because they want to believe it.
That photo just surfaced recently. You know what I'm saying? That photo, it appeared to be an old photo, a Polaroid photo.
It appears to be. It appears to be, but see, they want to believe it. And I understand that, because Dr. Khalid was such a powerful, loving leader, just as Minister Malcolm was, that when he's taken away from us, the sheep has been smitten. See, when they killed the shepherd, the sheep have been scattered. We've been smitten and scattered. So I understand that.
So my thing is,
I understand that. But nonetheless, the enemy has the equipment to baffle us. And to the sister, I understand. And I don't blame that sister for checking me on anything I said. I think she should. I think anybody should check me on it. But first, you got to be able to prove me wrong.
Yeah, I believe.
All I'm saying is just prove me wrong.
I think we should do as you said, though. We should be skeptic You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Because
Yes.
we have people that are working in the behalf of those who don't want to see us up out of this condition.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. And it's straight. Look, this whole COVID thing, brother,
Dr. Khalid neck is pretty long in that picture.
it's pretty long. It's pretty long.
Let me see something. Well, let me close. Anything you want to say in closing, brother?
I just want to say, study the picture, look at the layers in it. If you've done any kind of cutouts, when we made posters back in the day, we did cutouts. Now they can use images and move images from one area to another. It's the same philosophy. We made cutouts back then when we were making posters for Dr. Khalid.
That was called cut and paste. That was the real cut and paste.
Cut and paste. That look authentic. That was the whole purpose of it, was to look authentic. Well, when you look at that, the only thing that messes up with the cameras is the coloration. You have to be able to judge the distance, judge shadows, and all of that. Brother, if you got a shadow right in front of you, if that light is below you, it'll cast a shadow higher than the body. But it's not going to cast a shadow on you that's going to match that shadow with the body. That's the first thing. Secondly, the shadows are too light for the wall that they're hitting. That's a light wall. It should be darker. And when you look at Sarnetta, he got a small shadow in the middle of big blown up shadows.
Strange.
Yeah. You're not going to have two shadows. You got one black shadow behind him. Pull up that picture again. One black shadow behind him, and then the shadow that should be his silhouette outline, you can't hardly see that. Look at that, brother. Now I want you to look at that. Do you see it anywhere else?
That don't make sense.
It don't make sense. It don't make sense at all. Don't make sense. So the proof is right there. The proof is there. The proof is there. So we have to be cognizant. And then the brother don't even remember the photo to the sister that challenged the photo. I agree, you should be skeptical, but let's be reasonable. This brother took a picture that he don't even remember. He must have been really high that night. Maybe he started using crack that night.
Hey, brother, stop, right? You mean that was the night that you said the night is the night. I'm gonna feel all right.
See what I'm saying?
But let me say this to y'all before we get out of here. In the Moorish Science Temple of America, listen to this. I want to share something with y'all. In the Moorish Science Temple of America, for many moons, many people thought that this was a legit picture of Prophet Noble Drew Ali and Sister Pearl Drew Ali. In fact, it's a fake. It's a fraud. It's a total fake and a fraud. Somebody imposed this sister in behind a picture of Prophet Noble Drew Ali. But many people join the temple and think that this is a picture from the 1920s.
That's true.
And it's not a picture from the 1920s. I'm going to show you the original picture of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, if you will. And they imposed hold up, give me 1 second. Let me show you the original real quick. And I argue with people about this thing. Many people I've argued with about this picture. You know what I'm saying? Here it is in color. I think this is the one in color. If I can pull it up. Okay. So what they did was, let me pull it up real quick. I argue many people about this thing, man. But people talk about a Polaroid. That's nothing. They took this picture. It's the same picture, and superimposed a sister behind it. And somebody's going to get on it right now and probably argue and say, no, that picture is real. That picture is real. They did this they made this look like it was in the 20s.
Exactly.
And the picture is phony. It's false. It's not real.
Exactly.
Here it is. They took this picture threw this on the back. And if you look real close, you actually can see.
Exactly.
If you look real close, you actually can
It's
see.
layered. Look at his elbow.
Yeah.
Look at his elbow.
You actually can see it.
Yeah, it's layered.
You actually can see it. And so, with that being said, it was a bad Photoshop job. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to tell you, many people argued me in the Moorish Science Temple of America that was a real photo. I mean, fought tooth and nail. And they thought it was in the 20s and be legit. And so, for my sister who think that they can't fake that with a Polaroid, and they faked out possibly hundreds of thousands of Moors.
Oh, yeah.
That. There you go. So, brother, let me wrap it up right now, brother. You know, I appreciate you. Next week, tell your family I say salam alaikum, my sins and my peace. And thank them for allowing us to spend time with you, because I heard the baby right there. Yeah, man, I get it. So we want to give gratitude to the family for having you for allowing you to spend time with us tonight. And we're going to come back next week.
Certainly, brother.
Yes,
certainly. Appreciate everyone, and thank you for watching, and salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, my brother. Family, that was a doozy. I told you. Oh, absolutely, sis. Absolutely, sis. Hey, sis, her, she, mer. Oh, okay, just was skeptical. Only thing I'm saying, sis, is on Moorish World TV, you should even be skeptical of me. This is why I like this to be a research channel, primarily, whether we researching frauds, whether we bringing people in to give you their take on something, or some things are going to be interviews like this. Some things are going to be receipts with interviews. Some things are going to be receipts with no interviews. But we work to just bring the raw real though, not no play along, get along. And people get mad about this sort of type of platform, and will even try to attack it, but I just can't do the play along to get along thing. I want to hear the truth. You know what I'm saying? I just want to hear the truth. I like to hear other people's version of the truth, and then allow the people to decide what is the truth. But many people want to silence this type of thing. Many people want to silence all truth. But nah, we're not gonna have that. We're not gonna have that. If you disagree, then come bring your facts and shut down what you claim to be a lie. Just come respectful. I opened a platform to Akbar. Akbar was in the chat tonight. He said, "You look like you enjoying this." I do enjoy what I consider to be the truth. I enjoy to see the devil get his brains knocked out. Absolutely do. Now, if you're able to come and debunk that which was given, then we welcome you on. But don't try to silence somebody because it disagrees with your understanding of the events of history, or disagrees with your understanding on how you proceeded on a certain situation. Come forth, and then lay your facts here, and let's see what the people say. That's all we got to do. Like, we got to understand that disagree don't mean disunity. And disagree don't mean that I hate you. Disagree means let's get to the truth. And if we love the truth, we wouldn't mind coming forth and putting our truth before the public. With that being said, family, I'm going to see y'all tomorrow night, same time. I might bring in Sister Nandy and ask her about some of the things that I mentioned tonight. I might even bring in Brother Akbar if he wants to come forth. I'll reach out to him. I think that'll be a fire interview to bring Brother Akbar in to respond. I think that would be fire. But I don't know if they're ready. I don't know who's ready. I would love for Brother Akbar to come on, to respond. And then we can follow up with my brother, the minister, Mauricelm X, if they wanted to have a sit-down conversation. And the brother said he'll take all questions, and that's my type of interview right there. But next week I'm gonna organize a show around brother Mauricelm X, talking about maybe Tamika Mallory, my son, the general, and see what he think about that, and other people such as our brother. I'm not gonna name no names yet. But it's gonna be as fire as it always is on Moorish World TV. Thanks, family, for joining me. We getting better and better. Woo! We like old fine wine. We get better with time. Oh, last but not least, I got one more thing I got to drop on you. Within the next few days, I'm going to be doing deeper research on Stinky Inky in the Throne. We got some new research coming. In the Throne, we got some new research coming. You know, we got some new research coming. So I know I be slow to bring things to the throne because people have been infiltrating, but I don't care. At this point, today I ran a test where I can go live in the throne. I'm gonna give you breaking news in the throne. I'm also going to do a whole presentation with all new information on Stinky Inky in the Throne. Yeah. In the throne. Can't strike the throne. Can't flag the throne. Yeah. All new information. And plus, I want the throne to be raw, uncut. So that's what we're going to be working on. We're going to be examining some serious information as it relates to manipulation. These cameras can fool people. Have you thinking that people doing something that they're not? We're gonna break all that down. These cameras can fool people. But hey, if you want to be a fool, be a fool. But if you want to know better so you can do better, watch Moorish World TV. Peace and love, family. Have a beautiful night, and I can't wait till tomorrow. It's going to be fire, whatever it is. Please share, please like on your way out the door, and subscribe if you haven't. Let's get it. Thanks for all the super chats. Thanks for all of the, Thanks for all of the, what I wanted to thank for? I wanted to thank everybody for, if you gave a Cash App, some people don't like their name being called. So I say thank you. But I want to give a shout out to Monumental Enterprises. Y'all remember sis? I'll give a shout out to her. I want to give out to Humbly Melanated. Also, I want to give a shout out to Tower. I want to give a shout out to my brother and my friend M. Nugent. I want to give a shout out to, I got my little list. That's right. Some of these names I can't even say. I can't even say. But I said, my brother from the 504, 305. You know what I'm saying? From the 305. And also my brother Israel Bay. I think it's Israel Bay. Yeah, I think that's the brother. Let me see. I think it's Israel Bay. That brother always come through in the clutch. I appreciate you. And I appreciate all of y'all. I appreciate each and every one of y'all, especially the share, the like, and the thumbs up, the cash apps, all the support, family. Because I'm gonna tell you, family, I'm not the one to let you down. I'm gonna make sure that we take this to the next level. I got some surprises coming in the next few months, and y'all all gonna be pleasantly pleased with some developments that I'm working on now. And again, thanks to my brother, my friend, M. Nugent. Thanks to the original people always come through in the clutch. Cryptonomics, Manning, Manning Bay, Lady Ace, what's my sister name? Candy Chambers, my sister Maymuna, and Sean. If I forget you this time, don't charge it to my heart. Charge it to my mind, because I be slipping sometime. Peace and love. I be that more you gon' remember.
remember. I be that more you gon' remember. To Harker Bay front line till the law call my number. I be that more you gon' remember. I'ma be that more you gon' remember, that's right. I be that more you gon' remember. To Harker Bay front line till the law call